What's good, everybody? This is Ryan Johnson with MoneyBass.com. Oh man, guys, we're in for a good one this evening. Am I late? Am I on time? What time is it? Man, you know how I am, always running, trying to get things started. Bear with me real quick. Let me get everything set up. Have to make sure that the Facebook crew is up and running. Let me check on you guys real quick. Just bear with me. Just want to say welcome to everybody that may be just joining the show for the very first time. This will be a live and interactive show. So make sure you guys get active in the comments. And as you come into the live stream, please drop a 1 in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay and confirm that you can see me okay. And then we're going to get right into this one tonight. This is going to be an interesting topic, something that has been floating around for a while. And what I will say is this will be kind of a part 2 to the original live stream that we did, where, you know, we kind of took a look at some things that Ben Milliken had to say regarding the co-angler side of things. And from his experience, you know, some tips that he offered out to be able to help out some of the up and coming co-anglers and maybe some of the veteran co-anglers out there that may be struggling with some of the technology that's going on out there in the tournament industry today. All right, but just bear with me. Let me get this running real quick. All right, Facebook crew, have to make sure that these guys are good over here. All right, there we go. Want to give a special shout out to the Facebook crew, and I see we have some of our regulars checking in. Want to give a big shout out to everybody, and especially the money team. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and how about we just go ahead and hop straight into the meat of the show this time. All right, so the title of this live stream is Co-Angler Ban. Do you guys think something like that could happen, should happen, might happen? I know some of you know that it is kind of already happened in the past. So will history repeat itself, or can some things be done to change that? But what we're going to do together tonight, guys, is we're going to come up with a game plan to kind of, you know, smooth things out, try to work things out with everybody. But the format of the show is I will first play a few clips, and then each one of those clips that I play, you know, I will, you know, kind of give my reactions, my thoughts, opinions, suggestions to the topic. And I will also be checking into the chat. So to get some, you know, thoughts and suggestions from you guys. And as always, I will drop some polls throughout the show. And those polls will let us know kind of, you know, who's in the live stream, who's in the chat, who is, you know, getting active tonight. So that's just our way of gauging the room to get some thoughts and ideas from you guys. And then, of course, I will drop the link. But for this one, I think I'm going to drop the link a little sooner, just in case somebody wants to hop in, you know, just kind of put out some of their thoughts and opinions on the co-angler versus boater thing that's kind of going on. And I don't know, guys. We'll kind of approach it from a different point of view and just see how things work out. So we'll do it that way. So first, let me I found this little clip that I want to play. Just bear with me real quick. What I have to do is just share my screen. Where's the link at? Okay, there we go. All right, so what I'm going to do first is just kind of share a clip that I found online. It's kind of interesting. And in a way, it kind of sums things up from the boater side. So we'll just take a quick look at that. Then we're going to approach things from the co-angler's point of view also, guys. So we're going to try to level the playing field. So I want to hear from a little bit of everybody. And also, let me go ahead and drop the first poll. And this first poll, once again, is just to gauge the room. All right, so the first poll is going to be, are you a boater or a co-angler? All right, so we like to keep it nice and simple. So your first option will be boater. Second option will be co-angler. All right, so that's going to kind of gauge the room to let us know who we have listening in, who will be commenting, you know, kind of just give us a feel for how things may go for this evening. All right, so I have that taken care of. Let me bring this next clip up. Now, this was kind of interesting. So the poll is live and in action, guys. So anybody that is just tuning in, make sure you get active and participate in the poll. Also participate in the chat, because the live stream itself does build off of the live streams. So really, really appreciate it, guys. All right, and let's see. Shout out to Snoop. What does Snoop say? He says you should put a third option for both. I'm kind of wanting to gauge this based on if you're going to be looking from a co-angler's mindset or a boater's mindset. So which side do you fish more often is what I would say. And I would say if you are fishing even equally 50-50, then for the sake of this argument, go ahead and put down that you are a co-angler, because that will allow you to see things more from a co-angler's perspective, more so than the boater's perspective, even if you are fishing as a boater's from a boater side, more than the co-angler side. All right, so yeah, so we're getting started. Really appreciate everybody for hopping into that poll. And just to give you guys a quick update of to where we're at right now with the poll just dropping. Not everybody has voted yet, but we're sitting on 65% are saying that you are boaters, and it's moving again. 68% boaters, 32% co-anglers. All right. So I think that may change a little bit as we continue to go along. But this first clip, I just wanted to drop this in here just to kind of let you guys have something to talk about inside of the chat. And actually, let me see if there's a way I can kind of make this bigger for you guys. Hold on, bear with me real quick. Let's see. All right, that may have worked. All right, so here we go. Here we go. I think some of you guys may recognize this fella right here. This is Slick Johnson. Oh yeah, I think he does his thing big over there on the YouTube, Instagram side of things, guys. So shout out to him. Just wanted to drop this in here just to add a little, add a little flavor to tonight's live stream. All right, so let's go ahead and take a listen to this and give me some feedback. What do you guys think about this scenario?
He goes, dude, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to front end me, guy. I said, front end you? Dude, we're moving. I'm just throwing at the stumps. So anyway, I told him, I said, man, don't throw over my line again, because done got hooked up my line several times, whatnot. Well, the fifth time, dude throws over my line, and I reel it in. Got it tangled up. I reel it in. I bite the swim bait off, throw it in the water. He goes, dude, what the F? I go, what? He said, you just threw my swim bait in the water. You just cut it off and threw it in the water. I said, no, I didn't. He goes, dude, you totally did. I watched you. I said, no, I didn't. He goes, dude, what the F? I said, look, there's no way that could have been your swim bait, because I told you 4 times not to throw over my line. Last 2 times you hooked my line. Don't throw over my line again. So there's no way that you did that. So there's no way that was your swim bait. That had to be somebody else's swim bait that got tangled in my line that I bit off and threw in. I said, I'm throwing out the front of the boat. You throw over my line. So I don't know whose swim bait I reeled in. Couldn't have been yours, because there's no way that you're dumb enough to do that. So I threw somebody else's swim bait in the water. Well, he didn't give me no gas money. And we didn't talk the rest of the day either. I think he liked me very much. I know. He goes, dude, I know what you're trying.
All right, there we go, guys. There we go. So that is the boater's tail of the tape. Just a little something to get us started. So, I'm pretty sure everybody's kind of heard stories like that. And also we hear some things from the co-angler side of things, more so now with the forward-facing sonar scenario, things that are going along. But with him, of course, you saw he was fishing shallow. He said he's going along and he's steady moving. He's fishing stumps, things like that. So this is not a new thing. So anybody that is just moving into the co-angler side of things, this whole scenario is not something new. It was there before forward-facing sonar even came along. So tonight we're just gonna go through some things and just see if maybe there's a way that we can change some mindsets, maybe on both sides of things, and kind of see that if you're gonna be fishing together, maybe, just maybe, we should be working together. What do you think? All right, so let's hop back over here real quick and check this poll. And once again, for anybody that is just tuning in, welcome to the live stream. The format that we are going to do tonight is I have a few clips, and I want to give a shout out to Todd, Castledine, and also to Matt Stephans. So they had a very interesting conversation. Actually, I think it was earlier. No, it was yesterday. Yesterday, they had a very interesting conversation. So I had to chime in on it a little bit, get my name up there on the screen and, get their opinions from, for the question that I had for them. So we're going to pull that up. We're going to go over that clip, and Once again, I'm going to be hopping into the chat to get your thoughts and your ideas, your opinions on this topic. And I will also drop the link. So if anybody wants to come up, I will set the timer, let you talk for maybe a minute or two, get your thoughts and suggestions, opinions, and all of that out there. And then I'll drop you down and move on to the next person. All right. So for anybody that is just tuning in, the first poll has already been dropped into the chat. And what we do each week is I will drop just a few, maybe 3, 4, 5 different polls throughout the live stream. And that is to gauge the room, to kind of get the mindset of where you guys are at and, just see kind of how the conversation may go for this evening. All right. So right now, the first question that we have is, are you a boater or a co-angler? And the poll is saying that 70%. Woo, okay. All right. So the scales are kind of tipped this time. The scales are a little tipped. So maybe if any of you guys in the chat or that are watching are co-anglers, reach out to your friends. We have to get this number boosted up a little bit, try to make things a little more even. But okay, it moved just a little bit. 31% co-anglers and 69% are boaters. Yeah, I think that's decent. That's decent. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I will pull up that clip that I was telling you about and just kind of get right into it as far as reviewing what Todd Castledine and Matt Stephans had to say. And I think you guys will find this very, very interesting. So yeah, but actually, I have to always give credit where credit is due, guys. I have to give a shout out to the chat. This chat is one of the best chats on YouTube, guys. We're always getting in here, getting active. You guys are always networking with each other. So just give me maybe like 30 seconds. So let me just hop in here real quick and see who we have tuning in this evening. All right, so we have Janoy checking in. Shout out to you. Says Milliken always starting. So listen, this isn't necessarily going to be about Milliken. This is part 2 to the original live stream that we had where, Milliken did offer some information as far as some tips and things like that to co-anglers, since forward-facing sonar is one of the major obstacles that a lot of people are mentioning, around this time frame. So he offered some tips that I think were very helpful. All right, shout out to the Money Team. All right, so Doty Fishing is checking into the live stream. All right, let's see who else we have. Shout out to Vernon Neal. Hit me with the one. Let me know everything is looking good, sounding good, so we can go ahead and get things rolling. So what did you guys think of that first clip? All right, and shout out to Sunrise Showdown. He says, hey, MoneyBass, just got the notification and won. All right, yeah, guys, I was running a little late. Your partner was a little late, but I'm here. I made it. I made it. All right, then we have Mr. Must Be Nice. What is going on? Glad you're checking into the live stream. All right, and we have a lot of members of the Money Team that are checking in. If anybody is interested in supporting the channel and becoming a member of the Money Team, just click the join button down below. Those are basically the members of the channel. That is who I refer to as the Money Team, and you will see them. You will recognize them because they have the badge right next to the name, and it kind of makes them stand out in the chat, guys. All right, then we have Greg checking in. What is going on, Greg? Glad to see you. All right, and we have Cool C. We have Cool C checking in. What's going on, man? Really, really appreciate you. Oh, and wait a minute, guys. I have to give a big shout out to the sponsor of last week's live stream. What I say is each week, whoever gives the largest super chat, super sticker is the sponsor of the live stream. And if you take a look at the banner that's scrolling across the bottom, it says special thank you so much to the sponsor of the stream, Cerebral Tackle. Oh, yeah. Cerebral Tackle was the sponsor of last week's live stream, guys. All right, let me just hop through here real quick, and then I will pull up this next clip. Let me see who else we have. Shout out to Janoy. Then we have Ronnie checking in. What's going on? All right, let's see. Sunrise Showdown. What do you have to say? He says, co-angler ban. Someone just trying to learn from a boater because they don't have a boat and enjoying fishing. Oh, yeah. Can't we just fish? I mean, isn't that what it's supposed to be about? Supposed to be, but I don't know. Should be.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see. Snoop says you should put a third option for both. Okay, so I already kind of explained that one. Just want to, see which way we're going to be leaning in this conversation, because I want to try to keep it balanced as we go through this. But I'm pretty sure everybody has a few stories to tell when it comes to these interactions. All right, then we have Bottom Line Outdoor says if a boater can't win with a co-angler, he's not going to win by himself. The co-angler is just an excuse. So yeah, that's going to be one of the questions in the poll. So I see Bottom Line Outdoors is saying, hey, you should be able to win with or without a co-angler. But I have an interesting question that I'm going to put up for you later. Let me just make sure it is on my list. Actually, let me just jot it down again real quick, because I want to make sure I do not forget that. All right, let's see who else we have checking in. We have Joe Carpenter. He says, good afternoon, folks, from a frozen Louisiana. Oh, yeah, I heard some people are out there getting a little chilly. Yeah, I think it's dropped in the 20s out here, out my way. So, yeah, we're all feeling the chilliness a little bit. All right, then we have Bass Pundit says, tournament fishing co-angler. There we go. Shout out to the co-anglers in the chat. All right, well, one second. Okay, here we go. Eat squawk. What do you have to say? Don't be in here starting trouble. Don't be starting no problems in here. All right, Bottom Line Outdoors, you are so right. A lot of codes I know actually have helped put, the boater on fish. Now, wait a minute. Let's stop the show. Let's ask a quick question. If that boater is competing against this other boater, but this boater over here has a co-angler that is putting them on fish and able to get the fish to the boat form and all that good stuff. But this boater over here, his co-angler knows nothing. He's getting snags, getting hung in bushes and all these different things. Is that boater in even competition? What do you think? Drop that in the chat for me. Would that be an even competition if that co-angler is out there, hooking him up with the wind? All right, let's see. Oh, we have Stephan Adams checking in, says team guy. All right, sounds good. All right, then Sunrise Showdown said the 5th time is way too much. He had to warn him 5 times. That was kind of a funny clip, though. All right, Vernon Neal says, I'm a boater, couldn't be a co-angler. Oh, yeah, the co-angler, they're kind of like I guess I would say they're kind of like special ops. They get dropped into any kind of situation and they have to get in and get out. They have to make sure they can get in there, assess the situation, and and still be able to make things happen. So being a co-angler is not easy. All right, let's see. Ronnie says, I have found if you're friendly with the that one kind of got cut off. Maybe you put it in there again. All right, guys. All right, so yeah, I see you guys are definitely getting active in the chat. Let me go ahead and bring up the clip that is going to be the meat of the show, guys. So what I'm going to do is just share my screen once again. Let me just find it real quick. Hold on one second, guys. Just bear with me. Getting everything set up for you. All right, so I'm going to bring up this clip. And what we're going to do is just listen to what Todd Castledine, and man, I meant to reach out to him to see if he wanted to come on the show, because him and Matt Stephans, they had some great, great perspective on this topic. All right, so let me just share my screen, guys. Once again, this is a live show, so sometimes I do have to get in here and do a little work, but it should not take long. All right, here we go. All right, so here we go, guys. So yesterday, they had a very interesting conversation about the co-angler side of things, and I guess the views from being a boater and co-angler. So we're just going to take a look at that, and I want to get your thoughts and opinions on some of the information that they were putting out. And you'll see your partner MoneyBass. MoneyBass had to slide in on the conversation too. I'm out here in these YouTube streets, guys. I'm out here watching. I'm looking, even when you don't think I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm checking you out. I'm seeing what's going on out there. All right, so let's go ahead and take a listen to see what these guys had to say.
I say this about all of the sport of fishing.
All right, I think he's talking a little too fast on that. Let me slow it down just a little bit. All right, here we go, guys.
Really, like, you can't have something that's got so much variable affecting the performance of what should be a professional sport, an individual professional sport. So there is way too much impact for that on the pro, if you want to put it that way. So you really, in my opinion, you can't do that at the professional level. I think it's a phenomenally well-run tournament. I would recommend anybody to fish that event. Like, it is an amazing tournament, but I also don't feel like at the top level, at the Elite Series or the BPT, that should take place. Like, it
All right, so let me pause it right there. Did you hear what he said? Did you really understand what he was saying right there? What he is saying kind of goes in line with what Eek Squawk just said just a minute ago. Let me just see if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Just bear with me, guys. There we go. Check out Eat Squawk. Eat Squawk is in here dropping some knowledge, dropping some gems for you guys. All right, so Eat Squawk says, bottom line outdoors, you are so right. A lot of co's I know actually helped put the boater on fish. So what Matt Stephans is saying is at that higher level, at that elite level, should that be a factor? Should that be such a factor that can determine whether a boater wins or a boater loses? In Eek Squawk's case, what she is saying is that that boater is being helped out by having that co-angler. But what if this boater doesn't have that extra help? What do you think? What do you think? Or what if this other boater has a co-angler that is not necessarily helping them out, but maybe they're getting caught up and they're having to turn around to get that bait, or maybe like in the scenario we just heard a minute ago, maybe they're casting over they're just distracting that boater. So that's kind of what he's mentioning in here. So there's a second part to what he was saying. So let me just get to that part real quick, and then I will hop back into the comments just to see what you guys have to say. And also what I'm going to do this time, guys, I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to drop it a little bit faster this time, just in case there's anybody that's in here that wants to speak from the boater perspective or the co-angler perspective on some of the things that we're talking about. All right, so let's go ahead and take a listen at the next point that he has.
You're gonna be like, I ain't fishing this ever again,
Yeah, dude. I mean, I had one of the years I fished it, I was in, I think, second place going into the final day, and I had the fish on that last day to win the event. And I got paired with an individual who had never fished before. He was there because he drove his best friend down who was dying of cancer. And the best friend wanted to fish the US Open. That was like a dying wish of his. So the guy I got paired with drove him down, and his buddy convinced him to fish because he didn't want him sitting in the hotel room the entire day. And I didn't know any of that when I got paired with him. And it was amazing that he did that. But I also, the first fish I had on for that day was a 2.5 pound smallmouth, and the guy didn't know how to net, like literally did not know how to net, and ended up stabbing the fish on the outside and, of the net, and, the fish came off. And I'm not.
Oh, did you hear that, Eat Squawk? Did you hear that? Oh, what do you think? I want to hear what Eat Squawk has to say about that. What do you think? Do you think that CoAngler was a positive or a negative in that particular situation? And not saying that all scenarios go that way. It could have went the complete opposite. Somebody else could have a co-angler that nets every single one of their fish, puts them on fish and everything like you just said. But does that make that boater to boater an even competition against those boaters? All right, so let's go ahead and listen to what else he had to say.
Blaming the guy, like, I understand it, but I also didn't know that. And, when I look at that event, I fell short 2 fish that day of a limit. I never had a co-angler even catch a fish, but had I had 2 more small keepers that day, I could have won that event. And I had the fish on myself, but the reality is, like, I didn't have good pairings in that, and there's a lot of luck that goes into it. So it's great for an event, a single event. It's great to create a positive atmosphere. It's a great event to get people into fishing. It's not what you do at the professional level. Like, it's just, you can't do that.
All right, he says you can't do that at the professional level. So do you think that a professional level fisherman, in his mind, obviously is going to be, I guess, more important than somebody that is at a lower level of fishing? But that kind of reminds me of the mindset of whenever you've been out fun fishing. And I know we have all ran into this before. You're out fun fishing, and here comes a tournament guy flying down the bank or doing whatever he's doing. He sees you there fun fishing, but hey, buddy, I'm in a tournament. So he will just run through right over you're at, disregard what you're doing because he's in a tournament. So he feels what he is doing is more important than what you are doing. Doesn't matter if you could have driven 3, 4, 5 hours to get to that lake and you're out there with your son or your family member, or maybe that's your only day that you get to fish for that month. So in your mind, even though you're fun fishing, it may be just important to you because nobody knows what you invested in order to have that day out on the lake. So he's saying at the professional level that this should not happen, but at what level should it happen? So I'm gonna hop in here and see what you guys have to say in the chat. Man, I mean, this chat is moving fast, guys. Make sure you guys go ahead, continue to get in here and get active whenever. And just to give you guys a heads up, whenever the chat starts moving real fast, the members of the channel, the Money Team, they have badges and theirs kind of stand out. So I can go through there and pick your messages out pretty quick and get caught up in the chat because there's more to this. There's some more. So you guys hold on. I mean, we're only 25 minutes into the program. We're only 25 minutes. So, hey, I normally get in here and kind of take my time and ease into the topic so we can have some fun with it. But, tonight we're hopping into it. And actually, let me go ahead and drop the link, like I said. So as you guys will see, I mean, we kind of just go with the flow. I'll bring up a few things. So I don't necessarily have a complete format to where I can't change things up because we are live. And that's another point that I want to make. A lot of people catch these live streams on the replay. The real deal is watching during the live, because during live, I can see your messages in the chat. I can bring those messages up. And most of all, I can drop the link. And when I drop that link, you guys can call in. So let me just put the call in link in the chat. So if anybody wants to call in, I can bring you up on the screen. So basically, it's a video call in. So you want to make sure that you're in a place where your video is good, where your lighting is good. And then I can pull you up. We'll check your audio real quick. Make sure that there is no other, that the link that you click on is the only thing that you're watching, because if you're watching it on another screen or anything like that, we'll get some feedback. So that's just to give you guys a heads up. But the link, let me see. Yeah, I dropped the link. All right, guys, I dropped the link in the chat. So if anybody wants to come up and offer their thoughts or opinions on what they have heard so far, feel free to click on that link. I know some of you may be itching to get in there and say, have a few things on your mind. But like I said, there's more to come. There's more to come. But let me hop in the chat real quick. So since I was talking to Eat Squawk just a little few minutes ago, let's see what Eat Squawk has to say. Wait a minute. It looks like the first 3 words are MoneyBass. I agree. How about that? I didn't read the rest of it yet. So I don't know. That could just be the let's see. What does Eat Squawk have to say? Money, I agree. You can't do that at that level. I don't think that you should be doing that in any tournament. So when you're saying do that, are you talking? Okay, wait a minute. You're talking about you can't be knocking fish off of the. You're saying you can't be knocking fish off of the net at that level. I was just saying his point is that at that level that they should not be able, a co-angler being involved should not determine that person's win or loss. So what you were saying a little earlier, as far as having a very good co-angler that can actually show you places on the lake where to go fish. So that is definitely helping the boater. So that's a kind of a good thing, depending on who's being helped. Because if you're the competitor on another boat and your co-angler isn't telling you where to fish or giving you all of those tips, then you may see that as a negative, like, hey, that's not fair. He has a guide over there on his boat for his co-angler. He's over there killing it. All right, so let's see. I see we have some people that were just ready to get in. They said, I've heard enough. Let me hop in here and say a few things. All right, so I see we have CT back here. Let me clear the screen just a little bit, get it ready for him. Hold on, just bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Let's see, where do we go? All right, so yeah, I see that we have CT in the back. So without further ado, let's bring up CT. What is going on, CT? I know you were back there like, ooh, I have some things I need to say about this. What's going on?
You interrupted a perfectly nice evening with me trying to work on content to get my butt fired up. Who do you think you are? The audacity.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my
audacity.
Oh, my goodness.
No, we were friends.
Somebody call the police. I need some help in here.
Oh, my gosh. See, here's my take, my man.
All
It's
right,
like
got it.
this. They like to call themselves professionals, but they're going to let somebody go in the back of the boat that does not have first shot at fish, that does not have good boat positioning, give them an excuse on why their butt lost. They need to shut up with that. There's no such thing as a co-angler making a boater lose. What there is there's a boater that shouldn't be in that position that lacks a whole bunch of excuses. Now, with that said, there is a such thing as a co-angler that doesn't belong there. They need to have full communication with their boater. They need to give full respect to that boater. They need to take care of that boater. You know, I preach being a good co-angler. However, all these boaters using excuses of, well, they did this, they did that. Shut the, I mean, seriously, are they pros or not? And, you know, Matt, Stephan, and I, we're boys. However, I will be taking that issue up with his butt in DM because
Hey,
if,
don't get me in
if
trouble.
I won't be dropping your name, but I mean,
Hey, he could be watching right now.
he probably, knowing Matt, and by the way, hello, Matt, I know you are watching.
Hey, and
Anyway.
if he is welcome to come up. I mean, you know, we just exchange thoughts, ideas, opinions, and suggestions over here. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
hopefully, you know, sometimes we can get in here. We start off over here and over here. Maybe sometimes we kind of meet in the middle or not. You just never know.
As far as shanking the fish off with the net, okay, it sucks it happened to him. You know, I love Matt. Matt's a wonderful, wonderful dude. Great angler, great person, wonderful teacher. Love Matt to death. As far as that situation, that's bad luck. That's 1 in a million. But somebody like Matt in that situation needs to know that as much good as he puts out into the world for anglers, as far as teaching and taking good care of folks and just doing what he does and sharing his wealth of knowledge, karma's going to come back in a good way. It's going to take care of that lost fish. Yeah, that day sucks, but he needs to continue being that good guy, and good things are going to continue to happen to him. You know, some folks, these jerk anglers that treat their coes like crap, there's a reason. I mean, I had one guy, true story, that was a complete and total jerk to every co-angler he ever met. He talked trash about him. He was mean. I mean, I'm talking a whole eightful grump. Well, guess what? He was fishing a big tournament down Lake Fort, and his boat got stolen. Whoops. Crap happens. You know, and as a matter of fact, he and I didn't get along so good that somebody actually called me, and I was on a tournament on much different lake, and they're like, a friend of mine's joking, like, you got a good alibi? I'm like, why do I need an alibi? I'm like, so-and-so's boat just got ganked. I'm like, oh, that's just funny. I'm like, yeah, I'm fishing a tournament. My alibi is good. But I mean, it's all about communication. It's all about that boater setting the expectations. It's about the co-angler being honest as to their skills, not pretending they can back a boat when they can't. Don't go doing that. That's a bad thing. Don't go running the trolling motor when you can't, or offering to beach, or offering to pull up to the dock, you know, and pull the boat off the trailer in the mornings. Don't get out of your depth.
Yeah.
Be honest.
So this is what I would say. So that kind of stuff, you know, that's kind of different than what I guess the meat of the topic is. So let me ask you this right here. And it's kind of like two things to this. So right now we've just been talking about the co-angler side. So do you think, let's say that it's a boater and a boater. Let's say it's you and me, and we're about to be on the lake. And I put in my $5,000 and you put in your $5,000. Or let's just say it's $250. Let's say we both put in $250, right? I get a co-angler, you get a co-angler. My co-angler is somebody like Eat Squawk that's going to be back there netting the fish and like, hey, you should fish over there. Hey, I've caught fish over here. So that's what I have going on my end of things. Your boater, straight out of high school or straight out of high school, doesn't really know too much. They're casting, but they have these $50 swim baits and different things like that, and they may get hung up, or you have to turn around and help them out. They're doing this, and you have to turn around and help, that kind of thing. So even though I'm looking at you and you're looking at me like we're competing against each other, obviously I have an edge in that situation. You would agree, right?
Yeah.
Real. Okay. So so that is an edge. So I think that is basically what Matt Stephans is saying.
All right.
But what he is saying is that shouldn't occur at an elite level.
But
why does that elite why is that elite more important?
Okay, here I got the perfect answer to that.
All right, go ahead.
As a matter of fact, I have had Eat Squawk as a tournament partner
Ah,
in real life.
okay,
And Eat Squawk and I won a tournament together, and we fished several others together. So Eat Squawk's a pretty good angler. Now, with that said, though, I'm gonna tell you something. The answer is real simple.
Okay. All right. Here we go. So listen, that's what it's about tonight. You remember I said tonight we are going to solve the whole co-angler boater situation.
I'm gonna get down to the initial step, and the whole process solves it.
All right.
When we signed up, did you sign that entry form?
It was forged.
Yeah.
No,
Okay. You know where I'm going. Okay. You know where I'm going.
Right.
You signed the same rules.
You signed it
to compete in the same competition I did.
Gotcha.
So it's even.
All right. So there we go. So listen. So that is the answer. So you're saying it's even because that boater agreed to it. And so that was my next point. But look, we have somebody else that I'm going to pull up. You can come back on again after it's like I said, it's more to it. And you said I've already interrupted your nice evening. So,
yeah.
You got heated over there. So I
got more heat.
So I'll pull up the next person, and then I'll play a little bit more into the clip. And then, I have an experience or two that I'll mention, and then I can bring you back up a little bit later again.
If you don't mind, just stick me backstage if that works.
Okay. All right. Either way. All right. So here we go. All right, guys. Shout out to CT, Cerebral Tackle. Let me go ahead and drop you back down real quick if I can get that right. There we go. All right. So we have somebody else. Let's see, what do they have to say? Who is this? Who do we have here? Shout out to Sean Wayman. What's going on, Sean? How are you doing this evening?
What's up, MoneyBass?
Going pretty good. So what do you have on your mind? What are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, I fished the one bass pro-ams. I fished in the front of the boat. I fished in the back of the boat. I'm going outside. My wife's talking to me. I don't want her to interrupt.
All right. So you were one of the both. You fished on both sides of it, so you can kind of see it from the. So did you fish more as a boater or a co-angler?
More as a boater in the beginning. In the past few years, I just haven't wanted to be the boater and the responsibilities, so I signed up as a co-angler.
All right, there we go. So now you have the viewpoint from best of both worlds. Then, so what are your thoughts on it? On what you've heard so far?
As a boater, as a pro, I'm not dependent on my co-angler to contribute. It's my responsibility.
Right.
It's my responsibility to set that person up to try and catch fish. If they can contribute, great. If they don't, then, it is what it is, right? You're the pro. You should be catching the fish. You should be running your show.
Right.
As a co-angler, I'm just there to go out with someone else and fish for the day. It's I do what they want. I've been backseated at times because they want to catch all the fish, which, look, they pay the big entry. I don't have a problem with that. We share the weight. I try to help however I can. And I've drawn pros who, quite honestly, weren't on squat, and we went and fished my water. Because I practiced. I take my boat. I practice. I try and find fish. So it's worked both ways. But the one bass events, shared weight events, are probably the funnest events I've fished.
Gotcha. So that's shared weight. So I think, that adds a different dynamic into it to kind of eliminate some of those issues that, that we're kind of hearing a lot between the boater and co-angler side of things.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to really say the guy backseated me. He didn't necessarily backseat me. He was on a spot where it had to be a cast. And once he had a limit, he allowed me to start casting there. But for the most part, it seemed like he wanted to have that prime spot.
So that was on a team tournament format where you share the weight?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it was a specific cast. It was kind of in a creek with some moving water. So kind of a special circumstance, not something you typically run into on the bodies of water that one bass fishes, but in that case it was. And quite honestly, I didn't mind. I was learning from the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching what he was doing, where he was at, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, we share the weight.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have a question for you. So what Matt Stephans was mentioning was at the, I guess at the certain level where it's not a shared weight and you're fishing at that higher level pro, you know, the higher pro level. And now these pros will have a co-angler on their boat. And what he's saying is whether you have a good co-angler that can help you out or a bad co-angler that may be a detriment to your day, he's saying at that level that a co-angler shouldn't have any bearing on a pro at that level. Do you agree with that? Do you follow what I mean? So let's say, like I was saying a little earlier, let's say you and I are fishing against each other. So you've paid, and let's just say we paid a $500 entry fee, which for us at our level may be a lot of money, even though that $5,000 more to them. Maybe we'd look at that as like, hey, that's our $5,000. So it's still important to us. So I'm fishing against you. You have your 5. I have my 5, right? That we've paid for the entry fee. I get a co-angler that's basically like you said. Now, my co-angler is putting me on fish because I'm, you know, maybe I knew a few things, but my day just isn't going right. So now he's helping me out. He's saying, hey, you know, this spot over here and that spot over there. Maybe he's familiar with the lake, but your co-angler is not only not familiar with the lake, he's kind of new to this. So, you know, he isn't necessarily good at casting and different baits and things like that. So he may be getting hung up and you're turning around to help him out because, you know, we're good guys. We're good guys like that. So you turn around and help him out, but you see me over there setting the hook and I'm like, oh yeah, Sean, I got you. You know what I mean? And so the stress is on. So you're like, man, I don't know if this is a fair battle. So I think that's kind of what he was saying. So do you, at certain levels, do you think that is the case, or do you not necessarily agree with that?
Well, I think that's kind of a trick question.
Okay, gotcha. Go ahead. Let's work it out. What do you got?
The reason being is the example Matt used was the U.S. Open.
Okay.
Which was a shared weight format in the one bass. If he's paying $5,000 fishing the invitationals, right? For instance, before they deleted the codes, then I think you need to give that pro's respect. If he asks you not to cast in the area, you don't cast in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But this is me. This is my opinion. I fished from both ends of the boat.
Right.
I get it. It costs a lot more money to be a boater to fish tournaments than it does to fish up as a co-angler. And really, you should be looking at the co-angler side as a learning experience, right?
Gotcha.
It's kind of a live guided trip, if you will, not necessarily for you to catch fish, but for you to learn. Matt's in the one bass open lead, where he said the co-angler knocked the fish off with the net.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, that's on you. You could have netted your own fish.
Ooh, okay, all right. All right.
Look,
sometimes the truth hurts.
I'm just being honest with you, right? I mean,
right. Yeah, sometimes the truth hurts. Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, that's what's. I'm just saying that because I saw somebody else say that in the comments. Yeah.
Well, ultimately, when you have that conversation with your co-angler in a shared weight in the morning, that's something you should ask them, right?
Right.
How comfortable are you in that?
Oh, you're kind of breaking up a little bit on us. Can you still hear me? Okay. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, good. Just like when you ask them about, hey, can you throw a Carolina rig, or are you more comfortable with the drop shot?
Gotcha.
You're trying to. When I fished as a boater, I always tried to set up my co-angler with something he could contribute with. I would try to find multiple patterns, but I could have him do something different than what I was doing, and maybe he gets that one bite. I don't care who's the big fish in a shared weight, right?
Right. Yeah. So this is the thing. So let's say it's not a shared weight, because the shared weight thing is not. I haven't really heard, like, whenever you're reading the comments and seeing the different videos and things that are coming out, they're not really talking about shared weight. What they're talking about is where that co-angler is on his own and that boater is on his own. So even with Matt Stephans,
thing, I think.
Yeah, so even with his example, he started off talking about the shared weight, but he kind of moved that over, transferred that thought over into when it's not a shared weight, and that the pros shouldn't be at the detriment. It shouldn't be a detriment or a positive or a negative to them with that co-angler involved. And I'm thinking that's why, because at some point they did mention why they did get rid of co-anglers at certain levels, and I think that was one of the things that they may have mentioned.
You know, as much as I like the learning experience of getting to fish as a co-angler, if you're paying a $5,000 entry fee, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's the place for a co-angler.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much.
There's a lot at stake. If you're fishing for $100,000,
right?
You know what I mean?
It's kind of hard to be friends. It's kind of hard to be friends when you're out there with 100,000 on the line.
If you're fishing an open, for say, and the entry, I don't know what's open, 12.
All right, looks like we're breaking up again.
$5,000, right?
Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Right, yeah. All right, so I appreciate it, Sean. The connection's getting kind of bad, but we got your point across. So I'll go ahead and drop you back down, but I appreciate it. You're welcome to come back anytime. So we have some more that we'll go through. So if it hits you again and you want to hop back in here, feel free to hit the link again.
I'm here. I'm watching. Thanks, man.
All right. I really appreciate you. All right, guys. Big shout out to Sean checking in on the live stream. All right, guys. Let's see. What else do we have? I see you guys have definitely been getting active in here in the chat. So yeah. Pretty interesting. So let's take a look at the poll, and what we will do now is just go ahead and change that poll out, and we'll get a little bit more into the video. Well, I thought we would, but
yes, sir.
It looks like we have some more people that have some things to say, guys. So we're having some fun with this. And like I said, some people's thoughts may be way over here, some people's may be over here, but in the end, maybe we can meet in the middle. Or not. You never know. All right, guys. So the poll for the evening, this is to gauge the room, to kind of let you guys know who is actively participating in the chat and in the poll. So this isn't in any way a representation of the entire industry or anything like that. This is just for you guys, the people that are in here. So we have the question of Eve. The first question is, are you a boater or a co-angler? So right now we're sitting at 75% are saying they are boaters and 25% are saying they are co-anglers. What's going on, co-anglers? Listen, if you have some friends out there that co-angle too, hit them up and tell them to hop in here. We need to balance the scale out just a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to change this next poll question, and then I see we have somebody else that has something they'd like to say. So let me just end this poll. So just remember, right now we're sitting at about 75% boaters. So you may see a little unbalanced situation going on in the chat. If you do, that's probably what that's from. So I'm ending this poll, guys. Just bear with me while I get this other one set up, because this is a live show. I want to give a big shout out to everybody for tuning in. Really, really appreciate you. All right, so the next poll that we are going to start up is, let me see, if a boater signs up for this type of event, should they actually care about the code? Should that kind of eliminate some of the issues, kind of like the shared weight thing, but it's not shared weight, but that boater, like CT said, CT was right. He signed up for it. So I didn't let CT know that he was there. I saw you. But yes, so that was the next question. If the boater signs up, should the boater care about the co-angler instead of, just kind of like, hey, I'm out here to do my thing. It's all about me. Should that boater take that co-angler into consideration if they signed up for an event where they do have a random draw with the co-angler? All right, so I just kind of explained it for you just in case it isn't quite clear in the question for the poll. So let's see. Just bear with me. If a boater signs up for let's just call it a co-angler event, should they, and I'll just put care in here, but you guys kind of understand what I'm talking about. Should they care about the co-angler? All right, and we'll keep it simple as always. So we'll go with a yes, and we will go with a no. All right, so let me know in the chat. Are you guys enjoying this content? Are you having some fun with it? Is anybody gaining any education? Are you learning something new or just kind of thinking a different way about it? Let's see where you're at. So just let me know. Are you guys finding some value in this topic and in this live stream tonight? Just let me know. Drop a yes Oh my goodness, wait a minute. Who is this? Shout out to Don. Don says, smash that like button. Oh yeah, guys. Did you hit the like button? Let me check my likes. Hold on one second. Let me go ahead and drop this poll. So the next poll, it is live and active. So make sure you guys go ahead and start voting on that poll. But I have to check my likes. Come on, guys. I know you've been setting the hook on the like button. You have to be taking care of me. Are the likes looking good? Ah, come on, guys. Help me out just a little bit. Can you set the hook on the like button for me? It really does help out the channel and help the live stream. And also the co-anglers out there, shoot a message to some of your friends. Let them know what this topic is so we can get some more thoughts and ideas in here. All right, so I have a few more people in the back. So let's go ahead and take a look. Looks like we have Big Ivy fishing. Big Ivy's like, what's going on? I want to get in here. I have some things to say. So what's going on, Big Ivy? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Y'all
All right.
see me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We can see you. We can hear you. So do you fish on the co-angler side or the boater side, or a little of both?
Since I've been fishing with Major League, I've been doing co-angler just to get my feet wet, see how people feel and how people act. And I've been having some bad experiences. But like I said, I'm get my own boat, you know, when I move up, because I don't believe in treating co-anglers like that. You know, you don't backboat nobody. You might pay a little more money, but still, I pay money to fish. If you want me to drive your truck and park it, you want me to net your fish, but you don't want to put me on fish, and that's a problem sometimes. So
okay,
I'm just get my own boat, and you know, the co-anglers, I take care of the co-anglers better than most people would. You know, I just can't do that. I can't do that. You know, they'll sometimes be fighting words. I ain't got no time to be fighting on no water.
Oh, not the fighting words.
Yeah, man. You
Man,
know,
I'm supposed to be fighting is a fish on the way back to the boat. What's going on
exactly. Man, a boater cracked my wrist, man. You know, I guess he didn't understand. You know, I know how to, you know, I had a boat before. You know, he goes in rough water and he smashed it on the pedal, making the boat, you know, jump out the water. You can't hold on to them, you know, little things. And I reached down there to grab one, and my wrist got caught in there, and I'm halfway out the boat.
Whoa.
So he got mad because I'm like, take me back. And you know what that means? In that boat.
Come on, man. You can't do it. You can't do it like that. Oh, my goodness.
My wrist was swollen, man.
Oh, I guess if it's a medical thing, then man, that's tough. That's tough.
Man,
okay, all right, I got you. All right, so I appreciate you coming up and sharing your thoughts. So yeah, so we're gonna hear some more. If you have some co-angler friends, they need to get in here and hop in the poll so we can kind of bounce them out a little bit.
Most definitely, most definitely. I'm gonna try to get in contact with some of these fellas and see if they'll jump in.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate you for coming up. So that is Big Ivy, guys, member of the Money Team. Really appreciate you. All right, there we go. So Big Ivy has some things to say. Somebody else was in here just a second ago, but let's see if they'll come back up. But let's just take a look. So the poll that we just put up. Oh, real quick. So Ryan Potts, what's going on? He's checking in. So let me just clarify the poll. So he says, just the thought, how is a boater going to sign up for a co-angler event? What is that? I'm the boater. I'm the feature. I'm the entertainer of the show. I am on the starboard side, the star of this situation. So how can I sign up for a co-angler event is what Ryan is saying. He says a lot of co-anglers don't have boats. So basically what this means is I was just trying to just get the question to make it nice and simple. So a co-angler event, meaning an event where there's going to be a co-angler involved, where you have a random draw, not a team tournament. So it isn't where you pick your own co-angler. So this is a random draw event that has co-anglers participating. So that's what it means. So the question is, if a boater signs up for a co-angler event, meaning that they're going to be paired with a random co-angler, should they care about the co-angler? Meaning, should it just not be all about the boater, because the boater is going into that situation knowing that, where a lot of co-anglers may say, yeah, I'm just here to learn. Well, you could get paired with a co-angler that's there to compete. Hey, I've already learned enough. I'm ready to get out here and start catching fish. I'm here to win. I want to get that $5,000, $10,000 co-angler check. So that is what that question is. And right now we're sitting at 78%. Well, 79% are saying yes, and 20% are saying no. No, partner, you're on your own. You get back there and do your own thing. I'm up here handling what I have to handle. You handle what you have to handle back there. So we have, okay, it's changing a little bit. So yeah, you co-anglers need to get in there and get active. You need to get active in that chat and in the poll. So it says, if a boater signs up for a co-angler event, should they care about the co-angler? We have 74% are now saying yes, and we have 26% that's saying no. So that number is just, it's kind of moving a little bit. All right, guys. So we have somebody else that has a few things to say. Looks like we have, who is this? Shout out to Backdraft Lures. All right. So what is going on? How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, MoneyBass. How are you, my friend?
I am doing just fine. Just fine. We're in here chopping it up a little bit, just trying to find some equal ground somewhere in this situation. Just kind of get some thoughts and ideas from, see from everybody and see what they think. So what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Well, I've been a co-angler and I've been a boater. So, and my thought is, the co-anglers page, not just as much as the boater, but, they still pay to be there. So I'm not going to intentionally handicap a co-angler just to win like a BFL or something like that. It may be different if you're fishing for $100,000, but
right.
If I'm fishing for, first place, if I'm fishing for a couple $1,000s, I'm not going to intentionally handicap a co-angler.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, but the thing is, somebody's $5,000 may be the equivalent to somebody else's $250. You follow what I mean? So that person is paying that $250. That money could be just as valuable as that person is paying that $5. And sometimes that $5 is being paid by a sponsor. You follow what I mean?
Like I said, I've been a co-angler. I've been in that spot, and I've been backboated. It sucks, it sucks if you get out there with a guy that's scoping or something like that. But I, as a boater, being in the spot of a co-angler where I've been, I kind of feel like a boater ought to give equal opportunity to a co-angler.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So you're saying, so make that co-angler and boater kind of 50-50 in this thing.
Maybe not, because yes. It's a partnership, but it's not a partnership.
Gotcha.
I guess. I really don't know, but I'm not gonna intentionally handicap a co-angler though.
Right. I understand.
I'm all about going out there, having a good time, and just fishing.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. But see, the thing is, so that's fun fishing. But now when you're starting to compete, so that person that's fishing, say, a BFL, and let's see what Justin says. You can't fish a BFL like it's a team tournament to make a co-happy. $2K is a lot of money to me. I'm sorry. So yeah. So what he's saying is, yeah. So it's not necessarily a team tournament when it's that when you know what I mean, when you're fishing something like a BFL. Because the people that you're competing against, they may not be out there looking at it like a team tournament. They're out there to bust your head and take your money and move on to the next, to the next tournament.
He's not wrong, but if you win, you're fishing for $2K. But for the rest of us who are in, second to 10th, you're fishing for a few $100s at best.
Right.
So what does it benefit to handicap a co-angler or like intentionally backboat a co-angler like in a BFL?
So, and I guess some people do look at it like you said, a fun day of fishing. So if you come in whatever place it is and your winnings may be $500, $700 or something like that, is finding a lifelong friend more valuable than that $500-$700 check? Because hey, people are out there to have fun too.
Yes, sir.
So, I think so.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I kind of figured that's what you were saying. All right, so
Hey, but
yeah.
thanks
Oh yeah. All right. Thank you for
thanks
coming
for having me on, MoneyBass.
All right, sounds good. All right, everybody. That was Backdraft Lure Company. All right, really appreciate it. Oh yeah. So a lot of people are like, hey, I need to get in here and say a little something about this topic. All right, so just checking this poll again real quick. The poll currently in the chat for anybody that has not answered that poll. Actually, let me just refresh real quick. Let me see what you guys are in here doing to my likes. Did you hit the like button? All right, a few of you hit the like button. Can I get like 5 or 6 more likes? Just 5 or 6. I mean, we have a nice little crowd in here. Can we get 5 or 6 more likes? Just 5 or 6. All right, so let's see. If a boater signs up for a co-angler event, meaning they are going to be randomly paired with a co-angler, should they care about the co-angler, meaning taking that co-angler into consideration, not just making it just all about themselves? And we have 76% are saying yes, and we have 23% saying no. Okay, all right. So look at that. We have a lot of people out here that have some compassion for that person on the backside of that boat, or they're saying like, hey, you should. So, okay. So that means I'm pretty sure that a lot of co-anglers are voting yes too. So that means the boaters and co-anglers are kind of like, hey, we're kind of in this together a little bit, maybe. All right, sounds good. All right, let me see. Hold on just a second. Just a second. Let me see. Okay, I'm checking. I'm seeing some of these comments here, guys. All right, let me do this. Let me hop into the chat because this is a very interactive show. Welcome everybody that may be here for the first time. Each week we get together Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes I slide in a, kind of a pop-up live stream. So I generally try to do 2 live streams, and then I also do on the water lives where I will be live the same way you see me here, but I will be out on the lake. I will have a split screen with my electronics. Depending on if that's what you guys want to see for that day, I'll have a split screen with my electronics, and then you'll see a full screen of me out there, trying to catch some fish. A lot of times I do a lot of talking, but I still am able to explain and show you guys the things on the electronics. So we still have a good time out there on the water. All right. So just wanted to say welcome to everybody that is checking in on the live stream. And the other thing, I need to give a big shout out to the current sponsor of the live stream. The current sponsor is, guess who? It is CT. He was the sponsor of the last week's live stream. And if you take a look at the banner that is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, it says special thank you so much to the sponsor of the stream, Cerebral Tackle. And you guys heard him up here a little earlier, voicing his thoughts, opinions, and suggestions about this topic for this evening. And whoever gives the largest super chat or super sticker during the live stream is the sponsor of the live stream. So right now it carried over from the last live stream. So, hey, CT is still the current live stream. Really appreciate you, CT. All right, so what I'm going to do is hop into the chat real quick and just read. I need to hop in here and see what you guys are talking about. So I don't have time to read everybody's message, but I at least try to hop in here and read the messages from the members of the money team. So let me just hop in someplace and see where we are at. All right, so I see this message right here. Shout out to CT. He says, Hog Catcher, you are a good man. Hog Catcher is in the chat. What's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. But those on the water battle of the anglers, those challenges will be starting back up. So I know you're out here looking to get some revenge. So you may be getting your chance soon. So yeah, I'll be in contact with you. Really appreciate it. All right, let's see what else we have. All right, Sunrise Showdown says, I think it's wrong for a tournament fisher to run by another boat at close distance. Okay, so yeah, you guys are in here mixing it up, networking with each other. And that's another thing that I always say, guys, make sure you get active in the chat because you never know who is watching. You never know who is in the chat. There may be somebody that is in your neck of the woods. They may be fishing the same lakes, fishing the same tournaments, and you may meet up with someone that is that you may end up partnering up with on a tournament. All right, so let's see what else we have here. We have, let's see, shout out to Crush It Jail. Crush It Jail has become a member of the channel, a member of the money team. All right, so Crush It Jail says, as a boater fishing the BFL and Bassmasters weekend series, stop the show. We have a big dog in the house. All right, I always made sure my co-angler caught fish. I think it makes the boater look bad if he catches and his co-angler skunks. But if a boater is walking away with that nice check and they're kind of fanning that check in your face, do you think they're thinking about that co-angler? What do you think? The poll basically is saying that there's 25% that are not thinking about that co-angler, because the poll says that there's 25% that's saying no, they should not care about the co-angler. Man, that's ugly. It's ugly out here sometimes, guys. All right, let's see. Do we have Doug checking in? Doug says if you're fishing the back of the boat, downsize your lure. Okay, giving each other some tips in here. All right, let's see. Let's see. Big Ivy. All right, so shout out to Big Ivy. He was just up here a minute ago. Let's see what Big Ivy says. He says, a co-angler, I don't want to drive your truck and park it, or I don't want to net your fish, and that's because you won't let me come on your deck and you won't let me throw in the front of the boat. So Big Ivy is like, hey, man, this co-angler thing just isn't even for me. I don't want to do any of the things that it takes to be a co. I don't even want to fish from the back of the boat. Just give me the front. All right, let's see who else we have. All right, let's see. And Doty's like, what the heck is a net doing in the boat in the first place?
Yes, sir.
Should be flipping them all. Flip everything. Flip them all. All right, so Crush It Jail says, without co-anglers, then it's boaters on boater. So take care of your co-angler. All right, sounds good. All right, so guys, I'm just taking a quick minute to go through here and just get active in the chat. I always like to kind of check in with you guys and see what you're talking about in here. And like I said, the members of the channel, I'm able to go through here and kind of pull up your messages pretty fast. And then I will pull up the video clip and we'll kind of go through it a little bit more because there are some other things that were said. So we still have a little bit more to go in it. And then I will change the poll question because it looks like everybody that is going to vote has voted. So the first question was how many boaters versus co-anglers do we have? And we're sitting at about 75%, I believe it was, are boaters. And so this question is, if a boater signs up for a co-angler event, meaning there is a random draw with co-anglers, should the boater care about the co-angler? And we have 76% are saying yes. All right. We have some people with some hearts out there, some people with some compassion. They're like, yeah, you got to care about him, got to take care of that co-angler. All right, so maybe it's not, but 25% is kind of high, guys. 25% still kind of high, saying, no, man, you're on your own back there. You got to get back there and make it happen. All right, so let's see. So I'm going to end this poll, and let's go to the next one, to this next poll. And make sure you guys get active in the chat and active on these polls. The live stream always builds off of the chat and, you know, kind of the interaction that we have. And also, let me drop the call in link back in here just in case anybody wants to jump in, you know, and add a little something to the live stream. All right, so this next question, this next one, let's see, this next one's going to be kind of interesting. All right, so we're starting a new poll. This new question is, should a co-angler's main focus be there to learn or there to compete? Basically, compete means compete and win. So I'll put compete/win. All right, so that is the next question. Should a co-anglers, wait a minute. Yeah, there we go. Main focus be, and you can only choose one, guys. You can only choose one. So it's one or the other. Should a co-angler's main focus be to learn or, and we'll put be to compete/win. All right, and once again, we will keep this simple. Throw a little comment in there. Get these. All right, and again, this is a live show, guys, so just bear with me. Sometimes I have to take a pause for the cause and do a little work. All right, so let's see. So we'll put the first one is learn, and then the next one will be to compete/win. Man, I don't know which is going to win on this one. All right, so the poll is now active. All right, guys. So the next question on the poll is, should a co-angler's main focus be to learn or compete/win? What do you guys think? Actually, hold on. I clicked the wrong button. Let me see if I can change it real quick, guys. Hold on 1 second. See if I can correct that. Nah, let me redo it. All right, bear with me, guys. Bear with me. How do I change that? Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. Let me do it over again real quick. Like I said, guys, this is a live show. So I'm in here doing this in real time. And that is another thing that I like to mention for everybody that watches these on the replay. The live, you know, to me, I feel like you get a lot more value whenever you are watching it live and participating live, because I can see you guys in the chat. I can bring you up on the screen and all that good stuff, so you can do a call in. All right, so let's see. So learn is the first option. And then the next one is going to be compete and win. All right, so the poll is live. There we go, guys. So make sure you go ahead and hop in there and get active on that poll. Should a co-angler's main focus be to learn or compete/win? Which one should be your focus? All right, so let's see. Let me see. I'm just scrolling through the chat again real quick, guys, and then I will hop right back into the meat of the program. All right. All right, and I see somebody says I need to add both. No, man. Nope. Can't do both. You're there for one or the other. What is the main focus of being there? The main focus. Are you there to compete and win, or are you there to learn, observe, and learn and fish at the same time, basically? All right, so let's see. Let's see where else were we at. All right, Dodie Fishing wanted some clarification. He says care as in safe or catching fish. So that meant catching fish. So they're there to fish, like the competing side of it. So that was the previous poll question. All right, so let's see. All right, Crusher Jail says should not have a co-angler when fishing a pro event with a $5,000 entry fee. All right, so yeah, so that's kind of what we were talking about a little earlier. And my question to that was, for some people, that $5,000, that $250 is equivalent to their $5,000. So it may be just as important to that person. So that's kind of what I was getting at with that one. But shout out to Crush It Jail. All right, so let's see what else we have. All right, guys, let's see. I think I'm almost caught up. No, you guys are definitely getting active in the chat. And I see some new names in here. So I want to say welcome to everybody that is their first time joining in on the chat. All right, we have somebody that wants to hop in and like, I have some things to say. So who is this? We have Jonathan Green checking in. What's going on, Jonathan? How you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. Matter of fact, this weekend I participated in in California in a pro-am event.
Wow, land of the big fish out there. Okay.
With shared weight.
Wow. Okay.
Shared weight. And I fish on both sides. I fish on the pro side and I fished on the amateur side. And found out that with shared weight, all the stress and all the strain is all gone, because you're fishing for 5 bass combined and you're working together as a team.
Right.
All the rules, random draw. You don't know who you're fishing with. And so I think you need to add another one. You said, is it to win or is it to learn? It's to have fun.
Okay.
That's why I jumped. My whole life has changed with caring for my parents. And so I like to get out. Either way I can get out. So it's to have fun.
Right.
Be out there.
And so real quick, just for clarification on the poll. So learn, I would say have fun goes with learn, because the other one is basically you're competing to win. So if you're competing to win, sometimes it's not about having fun. You know what I mean? When you have that.
No, and you are absolutely right. I've been fishing tournaments since 1985. And this weekend I learned a lot. I did really learn a lot.
So do you feel that with that shared weight that does kind of remove that kind of like tension? Okay.
Absolutely.
And have you found that so you're working as a team at that point?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So that sounds interesting. I mean, I haven't really heard of any tournaments like that is a team with a random draw. I mean, we do that in our club, and to me, I mean, that sounds like it's going to be a fun thing. So,
and this is major tournament circuits: WON Bass, the U.S. Open, Lake Mead, Lake Mojave, and now they're added four tournaments in that same format on the West Coast.
Wow. Okay. Sounds good. So yeah. So, but for this topic that we're talking about, where they're having the issues and stuff like that, it's not that shared weight or team tournament thing. So now once you separate, you chop that right in the middle. So now they're separated. So that is what we're talking about in this one. So let me ask you this question. So it's you and me, and we're on a boat. You've paid your $250. I've paid mine, and the prize that we're gonna win is say $5,000. Your rent is due next week, and you had something bad happen last week where you had this. You're gonna be a few $100s short, so you need this money. So you're kind of investing your $250, hoping you can get about that $1,500, $2,000 back, so that you can pay your rent next week. Okay, so that's kind of so it means something to you. It means something to you. So you get on your boat, I get on mine. But you look over at me, and my co-angler knows that lake. Let's just say my co-angler is a guide on that lake, but just was like, hey, I just want to come out here and have fun and see if I can coach a boater into getting those 20 pounds. So that's the mindset of my co-angler. Your co-angler is on there to compete and win. So they're going to be on there trying. They're going to be casting. They're going to be getting that crankbait hung up in some rocks. They may throw that Carolina rig in some rocks and get hung up. And they're like, hey, I need some help back here. Can you turn back around? Come on, Jonathan, where you at? You're taking two. Can you help me out? And you're looking there at me, watching me set that hook. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got my rent money. I'm reeling my rent money in right now. So when we're competing like that, do you think that is an even competition for me to have that co-angler that is actually helping me where yours may be a detriment? Is that an even battle between you and I?
Most of the times, a smart co-angler is throwing something totally different.
It's too late. You didn't get that co-angler. That is not what's on your boat. All boaters and all co-anglers, they are not created equal. You drew what you drew. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay.
Right. So that's the scenario. So do you think that really shows the better boater whenever my co-angler is actually assisting me where yours may be? You follow what I'm saying?
I could have been that guy. Aggressive. Let's call it aggressive. You have aggressive co-anglers,
right?
And you have non-aggressive co-anglers,
right? Gotcha.
And as long as you're respectful, that's as long as you're respectful.
Gotcha. All right. There we go. So learn to have fun and be respectful. So, hey, it's just kind of the sentiment of fishing, but competition in there. And I think that's what's causing all of this.
No, I've had to have some words. With the boat.
See, there we go.
Straight up have to have some words.
And I'm guessing that wasn't a shared weight tournament.
That was not an MLF tournament.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming up for speaking your piece and letting us know. But yeah, so learn and have fun. So I'll check this poll again, and we'll keep on moving. But yeah, so we have a little bit more that we'll be covering. We've been rolling, guys, so we're having some fun with it. So time flies when you're having fun. But big shout out to Jonathan. Really appreciate you coming up.
Peace out.
All right, there we go, guys. So Jonathan had a few things to say. He's out here learning and having fun. He's kind of relaxing in life now. So I have somebody else that wants to come up and, speak their piece. They're like, we have some things to say about this. Looks like they're going to try to team up on me in here. What's about to happen to me? All right, so let's see. Let's hop back over here real quick. The poll for the evening is, this is the third poll. So this one is, should a co-angler's main focus be to learn and have fun or to compete and win when you're going in on the co-angler side? And we are not talking about shared weight. We're talking about where you're on your own and that boater is on their own. So that's the kind of tournament that we're talking about. And so this one, guys, we are split. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thought something like that? So we have 52% that says learn, and we have 47% that says compete and win. Hey, I'm out here to get these dollars. Show me the money. Man, it's getting kind of crucial out here. All right, but let me give a shout out too. We have a new member. Let's see, where did the new member go? Who is this? We have a new member. We have Easton checking in. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you hitting that join button and becoming a member of the Money Team. All right, and then we also have the current sponsor of the live stream. CT has gifted 5 channel memberships, guys. And if you see your name and it has that gifted membership right next to it, make sure you put CT in the chat. If everybody could just take a quick second. I always like to give credit where credit is due. And also, I don't have to do any work with the banner because it already says special thank you so much to the sponsor of the stream, CT. He has gifted 5 people memberships to the channel, so you will get access to the members only content. And also now you will have that badge next to your name in the chat. So when I'm kind of going through here, like pulling up this right here, like Matt, who's this? Mike Deal says, let me see, if I catch you on your phone GPS spots, I will put you on the worst fishing on the lake, even if it screws my day up. But I have been blessed with, oh my goodness, come on. Mike Dill said, I better not see you back there saving my waypoints. I'm going to make sure you ain't catching nothing but catfish. Get off of my boat. Oh, goodness, Mike. I mean, come on, man. Don't get me laughing in here. All right, so let's see what else we have. All right, so I got the poll rolling. Make sure you guys get active on that poll. I want to see who wants it, who's out here trying to get that check, who's trying to pay that rent. All right, but without further ado, I have somebody else. Let's see what we have backstage. We have Easton checking in. What is going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. This is Seth I got with me. We're college anglers trying to weigh in here.
All right, got some college guys. Good deal. So what's going on? What do you guys think?
Well, I think there's a need for the co-anglers in these sports because it helps pay for the tournaments too, and it adds a competitiveness. And as someone trying to go into the opens, starting out or into the BFLs or Toyota Series, it's always nice to be able to get your feet wet a little bit and be a co-angler. And there's a lot of things you can learn from being with a boater who's experienced and gone through it.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, of course, another thing that I hear is, you still want to continue to grow the sport. So a lot of the co-anglers coming in, they're there for fun and learning, which right now looks like, oh my goodness, hold on a second. Stop the show, guys. What has just happened? The poll has now changed. It says, should a co-angler's main focus be to learn or compete and win? We have 51%. 51%. That says, I'm here to compete and win. Show me the money. What is going on, guys? They said, hey, man, I'm not here to learn anymore. I want that check. Uh-oh. The tides are turning. Yeah, so, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but, yeah, it's just one of those things where, like I said, sometimes people's thoughts may be over here and way over here. We're trying to see if we can kind of even it out, but it looks like it's swerving all over the place.
Competing and winning is always good, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to cash those checks.
Want to cash in.
That's right. So, so you guys fish as a team?
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so basically, you guys are able to, both of you can fish from the front of the boat then, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that the way you guys normally do it? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
if I get mad at him, then I kick him to the back.
Uh-oh. Has either one of you cast before and hooked the other person? Like casting a crankbait and whop and pop them in the back of the head or anything like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's been 1 or 2 times. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So let me see. What was I'm trying to think of another question that I had asked somebody. Okay, I'll just go with the basic question. So whenever someone is competing at the like Matt Stephans was saying, at the pro level, and he's saying that at that level, a co-angler shouldn't be in the mix to where they can either be a detriment or, a positive or a negative to affect that boater. Do you agree with that? Or what do you think? Do you think that even if you're at the pro level, somebody that's fishing at the Toyota Series or BFL level is just as important to that person? You follow what I mean? So what do you think?
I feel like at the pro level, there's a lot more online for those guys. Mm-hmm. And a co-angler just showing up to mess around for the day and have a good time, maybe cut a check. It could be a big problem for someone up there who's doing this for a living, and he's out there trying to make money to feed his family. And, he's a pro, and that's like what he does. Having a co-angler in the back that could potentially catch fish that he'd need or steal his spots or anything of that nature.
I would say it also depends to me, because you have a lot of guys that you see on YouTube, these people post their videos, and co-anglers sometimes will cast at the same area, like within 5 foot of the guy on the front.
Right.
And that is a major difference these days when you're casting on a school of fish. And I mean, that's just part of having a co-angler too, but you also don't want to be rude to the person who's trying to catch fish also, but you also don't put the pro in jeopardy of catching some of his fish off the school but I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of what Matt Stephans was saying. But that's why I was saying, like, somebody that is fishing at that $5,000 level, if you're fishing a Toyota series, I think those are like $1,800 a piece or something like that.
Yeah.
So that person, I mean, maybe he's trying to get his rent money. Maybe that tournament is real important to him, or maybe he's trying to work his way up to that point. So he may say, well, hey, even at my level, I think it's serious enough to where I shouldn't have a co-angler. You know what I mean? And so I understand that, like we mentioned earlier, and that there was a second part to that. That person that boater goes into that knowing. So he's, like someone mentioned, he signed on the dotted lines knowing that was the format. But, you know, should the expectations basically be at a certain level is more important than someone that may be fishing a Toyota series, but just trying to work their way up.
Yeah, and
you also don't want to boot anybody's chances.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, you don't want to tell the guy on the back of the boat, like, hey, don't cast there, because then,
or just,
you know, he's on your boat. You know, I mean,
or like some of these guys are fishing these trails to try and make it to regionals, or
right,
to win a boat so that they can fish the pro side,
right?
Because boats are expensive, and you can't just not everyone can go drop. I mean, $20,000, you can get a boat for it nowadays. But
man, 20,000. We had some conversation the other day. I went looking at some boats, and they're talking about that'll only be $95,000.
Yeah. Well, you could if you're, it would float for $20,000.
This is another reason why I think the co-anglers think this is a good idea, because it gives a lot of people a chance that really want to fish and want to get into the fishing industry.
Right.
To give them a chance to experience tournament fishing when they don't own a boat.
Right.
So you can't get mad at them either, but at the same time, there needs to be like some. I mean, I don't want to say the pro on the boat needs to give rules, but I mean, you know, like, don't cast in this area at this time. Like, there's a lot, you know.
Yeah. So do you think that more like, if you sign up for that format where you know you're going to have a co-angler as a random draw, do you think that the boater should have more consideration than kind of what you're hearing? You know what I mean? Even if it's not a bad situation, but you know the boater is basically focused on doing their thing. Should that boater purposely have more consideration for a co-angler? What do you think about that?
I mean, they all know what they're signing up for. They know that there's going to be someone in their boat. I think it's the regional that for the BFLs coming up is on Douglas or Cherokee Lake. And that lake's going to be a predominant live scoping lake. And most of those guys are just going to go sit in the center of a cove in 70 to 80 foot of water with a Damiki rig or a jerkbait. And the co-angler is going to be in the back of the boat, not being able to do anything, which that's, again, luck of the draw. You can't hate the guy for finding fish where he finds fish, but being able to not get off the water without hating the other person is something they need to focus on. Because I talk to everyone who's fishing these tournaments, and 9 times out of 10, they're not having a good experience with their boater. Because he threw me in the back of the boat and angling the cast wrong, and like I couldn't make casts, or I was 2 foot off the bank the whole day, couldn't make a cast.
Which that's where communication comes in, but at the same time, you're not like partnered up with these people. It's like, it's not the same scenario as like me and him. We're on the same team,
right?
But in like one of the comments says communication is the key. Your intentions for both parties. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that is on the pro side that will communicate with their co-angler and be like, hey man, I just caught one right here. You can cast there, and that gives them authority, you know, to cast spot.
So let me throw something out there as far as communication. So what if the communication is, hey bud, I found my feet in 95 feet of water suspended, so we're on our way. He communicated.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, if you don't know how to catch fish in 95 feet of water, I mean, I guess that's their fault, right?
I mean, yeah.
So I understand, the communication, but it doesn't all necessarily change the outcome just because you know what's about to happen to you. You know what I mean? Like when you walk into the doctor's office, they're like, hey, we're going to give you 7 shots. It's like, that's not going to make it feel any worse. It's still going to hurt.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, so I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you coming up. But yeah, so make sure you guys come back and let me know how you're doing throughout the season. Where do you fish at?
Lake Hartwell.
Oh man, so you're right out here. So yeah, I fish Lake Lanier, Lake Hartwell. I'll be at Russell on the 3rd. So
we'll be at Murray next week for the first collegiate tournament.
Wow. Okay, so you're about there on those big fish. You're gonna be fishing offshore or shallow? What are you guys planning on doing out there?
We're thinking about going offshore first. Neither of us have a ton of experience on Murray. Well, our experience on Murray amounts to about half a day on the water from 2 months ago, where we're like, hey, they're going to Murray. Might as well go see what it looks like.
Gotcha.
And we
caught a 5.5 on a fluke the first 15 minutes we were there, and we're like,
okay,
this was not.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you do all right on Hartwell, you should be fine on Murray too.
We're hoping so.
Yeah. All right, guys. So it was Easton.
Yes, sir.
Easton. All right. So big shout out to Easton. Yeah. Make sure you guys tune back in. I really appreciate you guys for coming up. Let's hop back into the chat and have some more fun. All right, guys. You are always welcome back.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys. There we go. So yeah, we're just having some fun in here talking about this CoAngler boater thing, trying to see if we can kind of meet somewhere in the middle or not. It doesn't look like, oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Has anybody else taken a look at this poll? What is happening, guys? This is not what I expected when I put this question in here. All right, so take a look at this poll with me, guys. The question that we currently have, I think this is question number, let's see, this is poll number 3. So yeah, so we have 1 or 2 more to go. But for number 3, the question is, should a co-angler's main focus be to learn or to compete and win? What is happening, guys? I've always heard from the co-angler side that it was to learn and have fun. But you guys are like, no, man, things have changed. It's changed out here, MoneyBass. I'm out here trying to cash this check. And it's continuing to grow. I need some of the compete and win people. I'm going to drop this link in here. I want to talk to a diehard compete and win person. So let me drop this call in link. All right. So the link is in the chat. If you want to come up and kind of voice your thoughts, opinions, suggestions on this topic. But yeah, I want to hear from a diehard. Hey, I'm here to win. I'm not here to learn anything. I already know everything I need to know. You need to get me out there, put me on some fish. I want to walk across the stage with this check and go pay my rent and buy me a truck. I'm out here for it all. That is what I'm out here for. I'm trying to win this boat. So yeah, so right now we have 41% are saying they are there to learn, and 59% said they are there for that check. Woo, okay. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one. All right, so let's hop back into the video, play a little bit more of this video real quick, and then I'll hop back into the chat again. You guys, some of the comments that you guys in here, want to give a big shout out to the chat. Like I told you guys, this is the best chat online, guys. You guys are always in here getting active, putting in these crazy comments sometimes. And here, you're chatting and networking with each other. Really, really appreciate everybody getting active in the chat, because the live stream does build off of the participation of the viewers and the chat, guys. So we're just here to have some fun and, of course, have a little bit of get some value out of the content, guys. So that's what we're here for, having a great time with it in the process. All right, so let's pull this the video back up and let's just listen to a little more of what he had to say. Let's see where we're at, guys. Just bear with me real quick, because this is a live show. Let me just make sure I've queued it up in the correct spot for you. All right. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. I haven't even got to myself yet. Let's just skip to this part. Let's just skip to this real quick, guys. I mean, like I said, time flies when you're having fun. So we get in here, and I always get in the chat and I kind of get caught up. But hey, I mean, like I told you, we aren't really doing things in order. We're just kind of going with the flow tonight, just having some fun with it. So now your partner MoneyBass was like, hey, let me holler at Todd Castledine and Matt Stephans real quick and see what they have to see, what their thoughts are on this topic.
Correct.
I mean, I don't know that there's ever been a specific announcement as to why they've done it.
All right. So before he reads it, let me just read this out to you. So this was the question that I had based on what Matt Stephans said earlier. If a co-angler's effect on the outcome for a boater, like his example where his co-angler knocked the fish off of the boat, So let's say the co-angler is a detriment, or the co-angler could be a great co-angler. They actually know the lake. Let's say they're a guide and they're netting all your fish. They're doing everything perfect for you. So they're actually assisting that boater. So your co-angler is better than this next person's co-angler. So if co-anglers affect the outcome for the boater, like your example, at what level do you feel it is okay? The BFL, Toyota Series, Opens, All-American, etc. So at what level? Because he was saying at the pro level, it should not have, it shouldn't affect it. But like I said, some people may take the lower levels serious too. So let's see what they had to say.
But I think there's a lot of kind of reasons that went into it.
Well, I went in there. I went in there saying, if they ask me why don't I want coanglers on tour, I was like, hey man, we don't have some random. There's not like a random fan like guiding you if you're in NASCAR. Like you don't get some random guy that you met that day get and ride shotgun with you if you were riding that, driving NASCAR, going, hey guys, coming up on your back right. That would help you, right? If you I've never driven NASCAR, but my point is like if they're gonna call, I'm okay if they didn't call it professionals, right? But if you can't have this entire thing about we're the best fishermen in the world and we're professionals, and by the way, we're going to put this random guy in the boat with you every day, and he's going to 100% affect your outcome of the tournament, good or bad, whatever. And I will explain more of that. Co-anglers were allowed to practice with you. So you were allowed to have people practice with you that were in the event before the event started. I might not have a guy who's going to practice with me, but some other guy has a guy that practices with him for 3 days. No doubt that guy in that boat helped him some form or fashion. Figured out a bait, caught him this way, got a bite that he would have never have gotten. And so once again, if it wasn't the professional side of things, like the highest level, saying, by the way, someone else is going to help certain professionals and others aren't, it was wrong. And then in the event, you have guys either certain co-anglers, and I don't even want to say this because I don't even care about this part, catching more of your fish throughout the event that you might catch because it's a multi-day event. So maybe some guy with you is so good, he catches 30 that day on some small, and hurts you more for the next day. But I didn't care about that as much as a guy, as a boater going out there, lost as can be, right?
Yeah.
He's out there doing the wrong thing. And all of a sudden, the co-angler in the back knows what to do. And let me tell you something, this happened. The co-angler's back there, starts catching them. The boater then finds out from the co-angler what to do and then starts catching them. You get beat by a guy who should have done horrible in the event by a co-angler that affected him. And I'm like, well,
oh, what do you think? What do you think? So that's kind of what I was mentioning, guys. So co-anglers can be a very, very good thing, depending on if they're on your boat or not. But if that great co-angler is on somebody else's boat, you're going to be over there watching their show with the sad face. So that's kind of what I was mentioning. Let me hop back into the chat real quick. Want to give a big shout out to CT. He is the current sponsor of the live stream. Each week, what I always say is whoever gives the largest super chat, super sticker, and apparently whoever gives memberships to the channel is the sponsor of that week's live stream. So as you see, the banner scrolling at the bottom says special thank you so much to the sponsor of this stream is CT. He has gifted 5 memberships. And if you guys take a look in the chat, and you will notice next to your name, it will say gifted membership. If you could, let me take a look at the chat real quick. If everybody could drop CT in the chat. CT is the man of the evening right now. He has dropped 5. He has gifted 5 MoneyBass memberships. So we have 5 new members of the Money Team this evening. All right, so I'm gonna hop back into the chat real quick and just see what you guys have to say. What have you guys been in here saying? So the chat is moving, guys, and what it does is it really helps me out. All right, hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Okay, CT is about to explode, guys. I have to bring him back up, but CT, take some deep breaths. I don't know what he's about to say, guys, but I will bring CT back up because it looks like, let me just say, he says I have something to say. All right, hold on just a second, guys. All right, who is this? We have the current sponsor of the live stream coming up. What's going on, CT? How you feeling?
Brother, you managed to get me more wound, and you know this. I'm sitting over here backstage, you putting baby in the corner. I mean, come on, what the hell? Okay, first off, I got a couple things.
What you got? What do you have?
Mr. Castledine. All right. If he's so worried about how the CoAngler is going to affect him, he's not a professional.
Wait. Come on, man. Let's stop the show.
I'm serious.
But wait. Let's just
mentality.
So listen. So what was it that he said that you're referring to?
Not the last part about learning from the CoAngler. I mean, yeah, especially if it's an experienced CoAngler, he should pay attention. But as far as he's worried about the CoAngler, going to ruin his day. Yeah, he said, not so much the catching his fish, but look at what he slipped in there. He still said catching his fish. No. He had first shot at those fish. If those fish thumb their nose at his bait, those ain't his fish.
Okay,
so the CoAngler.
So let's talk about this real quick, just to make sure that we're on the same page. Because where we ended last time, when you got off, I didn't tell you, but at the time when you said that he signed up for that event, and as you saw, that was actually one of the poll questions for this evening.
Yep.
So I know that basically you agreed with that poll question. I'm pretty sure that you agreed with that poll question.
We'll see here.
So basically what CT is referring to is that the sentiment of the boater CoAngler thing is that, in a sense, that CoAngler is kind of there, not just for the ride, but there for the fun part and the learn part. But that poll, I have so many questions. I need to ask this one real quick. So that poll, it says, should a CoAngler's main focus be to learn to learn and have fun, or should they be there to compete and win? And you can only pick one. You have to be there for one of these two.
Oh, gosh.
And so
you done messed up.
So the win and compete is at 61%. Were you expecting that to be the outcome?
Yeah, I absolutely was, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
You know what that is?
What is that?
First, you were trying to get the smoke by saying only one or the other. I know you were trying to get that smoke. I see that ass-eating grin. Now, here's what happened. That poll the response to the poll is a protest to not having that option 3. Because if you put the CoAngler in the corner of saying you should only learn or you should only be there to compete, they're going to say, why can't I do both? So if you're going to split them and say, listen, it's got to be one or the other, they're going to say, screw it, drop the gloves, let's go.
Right. And so real quick, let me jump in, because this is how I'm looking at it. So someone can go out there and not really do well as far as the fishing side goes, but come off of the lake and be like, wow, man, this was a great day. I learned so much. And that is enough to make them feel fulfilled for that day, even though they weren't really competing. They weren't competitive, and they definitely did not win, but they are walking away like, man, I can't believe the things that I have learned. And now I'm going to be able to carry that on. And now let's say if it's somebody on the flip side, they go out there, they haven't learned anything new. They already knew the stuff, they already knew certain things, or they didn't really know too much to begin with, but they cashed a check or they won. And they're like, yeah, this was a great day. I won. I didn't. If you say, well, man, what did you learn today? Man, not really too much of any. I didn't really learn anything new, but look at this check I got.
Well,
so which one?
I believe
that's what I'm saying, that it has to be one or the other. If you can walk away from that and say, this was a great day, I didn't catch anything, but I learned so much that this was worth it, and I feel fulfilled from this event.
I see that's just it, though. And that's why I still got to disagree, because here's the thing I've always said. Now, and I've got some source material for this, by the way. It's always anytime you go out. Oh, shout out to CoAngler Fishing. I think I know who you are. Hello.
I guess I can kind of tell by the name what side they're on.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's the same group, CoAngler Fishing will be the same group from the old Facebook page. Hit me up over on my channel. I want to reconnect with you. Anyway, here's the trick. It's like this. If a person comes off the water saying they didn't learn anything that day, they weren't paying attention. In my opinion, you will always learn something every time you go out if you're paying attention, and you will always learn something from whoever you're fishing with, whether it be a co or whether it be a boater. You're always, even if that learning something is something that you learn not to do, there's always something there to learn. Fishing is a learning sport where none of us will ever know everything there is to know. So if you're not picking up something every time you go out, you're failing yourself. And as far as that boater mentality of they hampered me this and they hampered me that, man, no, they're looking at it wrong. And I'll tell you why. As a co-angler, you have to be prepared for whatever great guy you're going to get or whatever jerkwad you're going to get. You got to be ready for both.
Right.
Now, I want to tell you something. 18 years as a co-angler, and I got a long list of boaters I spanked and put in their place. Some of them, most of them, great guys who I am good friends with and who will be the first to tell you they'll welcome me in their boat anytime. And there's a small percentage of guys that are real you-know-whats, and they had it coming, and karma bit them straight in the you-know-what. So I'm going to tell you something right here, right now. Not that I don't know how to run a boat. Not that I ain't done it more times than I can count. But if you put me against any one of these guys in the chats and sitting there talking down to co-anglers, I don't think they would like the outcome. I think because I learned from every single person I've ever fished with. I've had the pleasure of fishing behind, I would say 98 to 99% of the boaters I've had great experiences. But a lot of that is you have to make it that way as a co-angler. You have to show them the respect. You have to pave that road, put in that work with them, and you earn that respect. And even if you're competing against them, they're going to treat you in a sense like a partner.
All right. So listen, so this is what we're going to have to do. Cause I mean, you just told all of these boaters that you can just tear them out the frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a challenge where the boaters are going to be on their boats fishing from the front. And then you're going to be on the boat fishing from the back of a boat, but you're going to be on the boat by yourself. So all of the co-anglers are going to be on the back of a boat. No, I'm just playing. You
know what? I'll tell you something better. We'll set up remotely where I'll pick what lake I want to be on. They can pick what lake they're going to be on. And the co-angler gets the choice of the time of year. And I'll tell you something right here, right now. Screw the boat. I'll beat their butt from the bank. I don't give a damn. You're talking to somebody who's won a major event on a major lake that if I dropped it, screw it, I'll say it. Lake Fork, folks, from the bank. Beat people for a whole field of boats from the bank.
All right. So listen, everybody. CT has put about 50 red face emojis in the chat. I'm the only one that can see them. But if you can't tell, CT is kind of feeling a certain kind of way about this.
I'm fired up. I'm going to need a drink or two after this tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate that for the evening there, Money. No, I mean, but seriously, though, it's a learning sport. And as far as the comments in the chat that are hardcore against co-anglers, it's only been a couple of people. And I have a feeling one of them's on a sock account, turn around and come back. You know who you are. But I mean, it's like, it ain't my first rodeo. I've seen that before.
All right. Well, look, CT. I have somebody else I need to bring up, and then I'm about to change this poll question. So hopefully it'll relax. This next one hopefully it'll relax you a little bit. You can kick back and relax a little bit. But let me go ahead and drop you down, and I'm gonna bring the next one up.
All righty.
All right. Shout out to CT, everybody. He is the current sponsor of the live stream. He has sent out those 5 gifted memberships, and I see everybody was shouting CT out in the chat, so I really, really appreciate that. All right, so we have somebody else that I'll bring up in just a second, but let's take a look at this poll, see how it ended, and then we'll put up this next one. This next one will be kind of interesting because it may end up being its own whole show. I'll probably have to do an entire show about this next one. All right, so the current poll that is up says, should a co-angler's main focus be to learn or compete and win? We have 39% with the learn and have fun. So you're like, hey, I am not out here for fun and learning. 61% said they are out here to compete and win. They said, show me the money. I want the check. I want the check. All right, so now let me drop this one down and let me just end this poll, guys, and then I'm going to put this next one up. So this next one is going to be kind of interesting once again. And so this one is, should co-anglers be allowed to use, and we can't even call it forward-facing sonar because I guess it'll be facing backwards. But I know you guys have heard about co-anglers that have the standalone kits to where they have forward-facing sonar. So I'll call it forward-facing sonar. So I'll put forward-facing sonar, but I'll put backwards. How about that? So should co-anglers be able to use forward-facing sonar with their standalone kits that they can actually just drop on the back of the boat, and then whenever the boat's moving, they just pull it up and bring it right back down there with them? So we'll keep it simple, and we'll go with a yes, and we'll go with the no. So it seems as though, I mean, would you guys say this has been a pro co-angler? So I think this has ended up being kind of pro co-angler, guys. All right, so should co-anglers be allowed to use forward-facing sonar? Backwards. All right, so let's start the poll. That poll is live and active. So make sure you guys that are in the chat, go ahead and hit the I knew CT was gonna say, he's like, why not? Fair is fair. They should actually get the whole front of the boat. Actually, while we're at it, the boater shouldn't even be on the boat.
Yes, sir.
It should just be the co-angler on the boat. All right, but all right, guys, we have a special guest that I want to bring up. Who is this? Shout out to the Bass Hunter. What is going on, man? You still have that boat? You have it winterized? Are you ready to break it back out again?
Yeah, I'm finna redo the whole boat. I got new fenders coming. I got new boat seats. I'm gonna do it all. It's gonna be like a brand new boat when it comes out. So
gotcha. Okay, all right. So what is going on with you, man? What do you think about this topic?
Well, just listening to everybody. Back when I started, which was, in 2009, I started tournament fishing, and I was a co-angler, of course, like anybody else. But I didn't start off in the BFLs. I started off back then it was a string series, which was just probably like the Toyota series right now. And back then you had an unwritten rule that when you didn't throw past half of the boat, you didn't throw in the front of the boat. You couldn't throw past the middle line of the boat. You either had to throw out the back or right to the side.
Right.
And even they had, me coming in, I would ask around, what to do, how to, what the etiquette. And they even said that if the pro is tying up his baits or something sitting down, you can't throw, you can't cast at all.
Wow.
You would have to at least sit there and talk to him and wait for him.
So wait a minute. So if the pro is up front just tying on a new bait, you can't even cast toward the back of the boat?
That's the etiquette. It's unwritten rule. That's what you're supposed to. The higher you get up in the level of, I guess, proism, I guess if that's a word, you got that, like I said, that that's what he does for a living. So you can't interfere with that, not whatsoever. So, that was a big thing. And especially that pole you just had up as going to win, I go to win all the time. Especially, like I said, I used to go down to Okeechobee. I used to jump on a plane. I would ship my rod. I would ship my rods through the
as a
mail to the
co-angler.
hotel.
You would
Say
do
what?
that on the co-angler side?
On the co-angler side now.
Wow.
I would ship my rods to the hotel,
Yeah.
jump on the plane, and get a rental car from one part of Florida. You know, it wasn't any airports close to Okeechobee. So get in a rental car, then get there, then to have the boater say, you know, well, we bed fishing, so you might not get many casts at anything because I'm bed fishing, and you can't cast nowhere near me. So I'd be throwing out the back of the boat. I'm spending $1,000 just like he has,
right?
Trying to get there, but then for him to tell me that don't throw nowhere in front of this boat, whatever you do. So it's one of them things, you just never know. I fished with a couple of pros. I fished with, I'm not even gonna say his name, but he didn't talk to me the whole day. He didn't say one word to me the whole day.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that was all about, but he boated me the whole day. He didn't talk to me, didn't say anything to me. I didn't catch not one fish.
Oh man. Yeah, so that sounds rough right there. But listen, let me ask you something. So if you shipped your rod, you got the hotel, you flew by plane, it sounds like you could have just went ahead and rented a boat too. Why didn't you go ahead and rent a boat and just fish as a boater?
I didn't want to make the 11, 12-hour trip down there. So,
No, I mean, just rent a boat down there. Just call ahead and find a boat you can rent for the day.
Well, at that time, like I said, back in 2009, I just had started tournament fishing. So,
gotcha.
I didn't feel comfortable, especially not riding around Okeechobee. I'm never, I've only been there a couple times, just being a co-angler. So, I wasn't finna drive somebody else's boat on Okeechobee.
Right, I got you.
So, but,
oh man,
but I fished with Scott Canterbury before on Old Seminole. Mm-hmm. He caught 27 pounds that day, and I netted all of them, and I didn't catch one fish.
You didn't knock any of them off the?
No. But with the pros like that, you got to understand. Like I said, they that's what they do for a living. So, and most of them, once they get their limit and they got a halfway decent bag, then they'll start helping you. But before that, you can't expect them to say, this is what I'm throwing. Throw this bait and to catch my fish. They're not going to do that. So, but you try to have the best time you can. But
man,
I've been in fussing matches with them and everything, that all that tough type stuff too. So it's been a whole gamut of that. But that's the reason why I just stopped fishing, BFL stuff like that.
But you were casting checks on those BFLs. I saw you.
I almost won at Lanier 5 years ago as a co-angler on Lanier. Dude beat me by 4 ounces at Lanier, and that was my closest to winning as a BFL. Any boater side or co-angler side.
Gotcha. Man. So look, you saw how I was saying. So we start over here and over here. Maybe we can it doesn't look like that is happening. It doesn't look like that is happening. So listen. So to me, just right off what I'm kind of thinking is because of that last poll where we're at, what was it? 61% said I'm here to compete.
Yeah.
So once you have that tone, that competitive mindset, all that other stuff off to the side, you don't even see that. I'm focused on competing. I need to be in a spot where I can compete. So if you're not getting me there, then my day is not going well. I'm gonna talk bad. I'm gonna be back here grimace faced and like I was out here to win and you messed it up for me type thing. So do you think that the expectation of that competitiveness, whereas before, like how you were saying a while back, and what I had heard most of the co-anglers say is that they were there to learn and for the experience of it. And so are you thinking that has changed, or do you think it's still about the same? What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think that has changed with the introducing of YouTube. I mean, most fishermen think they can fish better than anybody. Like CT said, he could beat everybody off the bank. you know. So
off the bank,
off the bank, you know.
Hold on. You're gonna have CT putting about 50 more red face emojis in my chat.
So, you know, with that said, you know, most people are more advanced in fishing. You know, even the young guys, you know, they more advanced in fishing. They probably have boats at, you know, 16, 17 years old, or their dad got boats. You know, they going fishing all the time. So they more advanced than we were when, you know, it took me. I mean, I had boats, but I just crab fished as a young man, 25, 26 years old. You know, I just started bass tournament fishing until I was, you know, 40, 45 years old. So
right. Yeah, pretty much same here.
Yeah. So, you know, it just took a long time for me to get that experience to go fishing. And I thought I could go catch some fish, you know, driving my own boat.
Right.
Yeah. So I just think they more advanced. But, you know, to answer your question, they just, you know, I just think they're more advanced and
right. So all of that, so all being exposed to all that social media and everything,
right.
brought out more people wanting to compete, because I've already learned everything I need to know from watching YouTube. So now I'm here to win. I want that check.
Yeah, I mean, you got, like I said, you got 16, 17, not 16, but 17, 18-year-old guys going to the Bassmaster Classic. So
wow, that's right.
You know.
That's right.
So
Man.
yeah, that's how it is these days. So
so listen, let me ask you this. So you are going to be fishing the let me pick one. Let's say you're going to a Toyota series. I think that's what about 1800 or 2000, something like that to enter in.
Like that. Yeah, I think
yes. So you're out there, you're trying to do it big, and your co-angler shows up. He has his tackle bag, he has a few rods, then he has this other bag, and it has a forward-facing sonar that's going to be facing backwards. but it can actually swivel. He can look up there and be like, "Hey man, I see what you're fishing. I see what you're," you know what I mean? So
yeah.
What do you think? Should co-anglers be able to bring their own forward-facing sonar, a self-contained kit with the battery and everything?
I mean, I wouldn't have no problem with it, as long as it's, when I say it's time to go, it's time to go. Don't sit there and have to roll up your line and everything, your rod out the water. You have to pack up your forward-facing sonar and all that. By that time, I'm sitting in my seat waiting on you. You know, that's just too much. So
so listen, I'm back here and I'm looking, and I've scanned all around. I'm like, "Hey, bass hunter," I'm looking up like, "Hey man, when I pointed this thing around, the only thing I see is what you're fishing up there, buddy. I mean, am I gonna get a cast? Is it my turn yet?"
When I get my limit, it's your turn. I mean, that's just how it is, you know. So that it's my boat. I put the gas in this boat. I took the time to go practice, and I did all this to find these fish.
Gotcha.
Now you just drive up here that morning and expect me to give you my fish?
So look, let me do this, because I'm about to close out in a second, but I'm gonna bring CT up here. CT,
there you go. That's
CT.
who I won't talk to anyway.
Oh my goodness, no. Wait a minute. Hold on. CT, take a few deep breaths first. I'm gonna give you about 10 seconds and take a sip of water. Hold on, let me
yeah, let me do the same thing.
All right, CT. Now, as you can see, Bass Hunter is a co-angler and a boater. He's been winning on the co-angler side too, because I saw him do his thing on Lake Lanier when he was talking about it. You got second place, right?
Right.
All right. So actually, let me drop you back down for a second. I'm gonna bring somebody else up, and then I'm gonna bring you and CT back up.
All right.
All right. So let me drop you down real quick, and let's see, who do we have here. We have Stephan Walden. Do you have your camera up? Maybe Stephan wasn't ready. Stephan, are you there? All right, Stephan, I'm gonna drop you back down. When I see your camera come up, then I'll okay, there he goes. There he goes. He had to fix his hair. Had to get his
no. There was
had to get the hair and makeup done. So what's going on, man? What you got? I think you have a delay, huh?
There we go. I had to fix that echo. I couldn't really comprehend what was going on.
Can you turn your camera to the other, like the landscape mode? Bam! There we go. All right. So what do you have? What do you have on this topic?
You know, I got a lot on this topic.
Well, listen, try to slice it down. Let me pull out my timer. Let me pull my time out. I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll give you 2 whole minutes. How about that?
Got you. Well, ultimately, when it comes to the whole co-angler boater, whether they want to have one or don't have one, and some of the negative attitudes towards them on both sides, like I was saying before, a lack of communication. Either you, as a co-angler, you're not communicating your intent. Like I do want to learn stuff from you, but I'm also there to win. It's both, and especially nowadays, it's not purely going there for fun or for learning. It's also to compete. I mean, there's that aspect of it too. In the sense of a boater not wanting to have a co-angler, it's the thought that that co-angler hinders his ability to fish. A lot of the times that may be simple communication skills. Like that boater wanted to fish this right side of these docks and then go up on the other side of the cove and fish up that. But what the co-angler does is he figures he wants to cast that new water, so he casts on the other side of the cove. Now there's a possibility that that co-angler doesn't know that that's a no-no. It could be malicious that he cast over there because he wanted to fish new water, or maybe he's thinking the boater's going to fish down the east and he's going to leave. But all of it is handled with communications. And like you alluded to earlier, like if I tell you I'm going to fish in 60 foot of water and I'm live scoping, well, you better have a drop shot tied on as a co-angler and get with the program. Now there are certain instances, like in a couple of examples that I've had happen to me, is that they can hinder your ability to fish in that 60 foot of water if they're driving the boat kind of crazy, like they don't have a co-angler and not even paying attention to what's going on. As far as you're sitting there trying to drop shot a fish up, and then all of a sudden the boat's coming around on you. You got to reel your bait in because he's chasing the same fish that's looking at your bait.
Right.
Again, that can be handled with communication. Hey, I'm going to be spinning the boat around a lot. Just let me know if you're still fishing the area before I spin it around, and we can try to have a go at this school from both sides, because usually it's one huge school or it's two schools and he's chasing them around. But sometimes they are malicious to where he's actually sees a fish that's about to bite your lure and he turns the boat around and you have to reel in. He catches that fish. I mean, and again, that's where you get into, was the intention of him trying to hinder you from catching that fish, or was it an honest mistake? And you didn't say, "Hey, man, I'm back here still. Let me reel my bait in, or give me a chance." Or it depends on the person. It depends on the people and what their intent is.
All right, there we go. Let's stop the show. Let's stop the show. All right, so that was about 33 minutes, Steph. So you talking about 30.
Well, I'm trying to encompass everything that you're talking about on the show.
I got you. So your breakdown of everything is basically the sentiment of the person that's doing it, whether it's malicious or not, is basically the bottom line for you. Because that was a good point that you said. Like, if that boater is going to be out there, I guess they sniping or whatever they call it, and they're going to be moving around a lot, and that co-angler is casting, so they could cast, and that boater may start spinning that boat around. If they are communicating like, "Hey, I'm about to turn the boat," and they let them go ahead and finish their cast or something like that, then that would be a way to communicate. And for me, that kind of goes back to that question that it's like a two-part thing. The first is, should a co-angler be able to affect a boater's performance, by having that co-angler there? And obviously the answer to that, to me, is going to be yes, because of this part two, because that boater signed up for that. So it's kind of like a give and take. So whereas a lot of the boaters have the mindset that, hey, I'm the boater, I'm the star of this thing, you're there for the ride type thing. But it's like, nah, not necessarily, because you signed up for a co-angler event, meaning that there's a random draw with a co-angler.
Yeah, absolutely. They have the ABAs just took co-anglers out of their whole series. I mean, there are other avenues to where boaters can fish to not have a co-angler. But if you have a co-angler, just be courteous. That's what it boils down to. I mean, we're both trying to catch fish. The days of I'm just here on the boat, just want to learn, I'm going to come with one pole. Sometimes that can be guys' intent, but with the advent of YouTube and Bass University and stuff like that, there are things that you can still learn, but the majority of the stuff, like when I won my tournament, it wasn't anything that the boater was doing in particular, but he actually learned from me and what I was doing.
Okay.
So again, the days of I'm just going to bring one pole and I'm here to learn. Yeah, back in the early '90s when we didn't have these avenues of figuring out these things. Yeah,
it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah,
Those days are
yeah.
no longer here. All right. So the malicious intent. So what is the intent? And just kind of be considerate. Take your co-angler into consideration if you sign up for a event where you know that there's going to be a co-angler involved. All right. So really appreciate it. Look, time is flying. I've been rolling for about a little over 2 hours, guys. So I don't know. You might want to stay tuned for this next thing because maybe CT's relaxed a little bit, but I'm about to bring him back up. So I appreciate you coming up, Stephan. I appreciate the input,
no problem,
because I know you've been out there putting in work on the co-angler scene. All right, everybody, that is Stephan Walden. All right, really appreciate you. All right, guys. So now, without further ado, we have the bass hunter coming up. But now let's go ahead and see how CT is feeling. What is going on? The current sponsor of the live stream. We have CT checking in. What's going on, CT?
Good afternoon, CT.
Hey, good afternoon, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Always good to see the bass hunter.
Always good to hear CT.
So what's going on, CT? You're feeling a little bit better, I think.
Yeah. You dropped my blood pressure a little bit, not completely.
Gotcha. All right.
I was worried, or not worried. I was working on content, trying to get something out since I've been laid up with my leg, and just trying to cobble something together. And I look over, and say, it's Tuesday. I got to check on money. And I saw the headline there on the thumbnail, and I'm like, dadgummit, I got to go fight this tonight. Got me riled up.
But CT, how you think you can come beat me off the bank? That's what I want to understand.
Uh-oh.
You know what? It's about time, place, and manner, my friend.
Round one.
You string those things together and you can make it happen. And I'm going to tell you something. If you think somebody getting beat by the back of the boat might foster some ill will, you want to see the look on some faces of some folks when they get beat by the bank. I'm going to tell you, it's priceless. If looks could kill, I'd have been dead several times. Because, I had one guy screaming, yelling that he was going to trade his you-know-what in. He's like, I'm going to trade my S in. I'm done. Throwing his arms up in the air. And, I just eat that up and write his name on the list. But no, it's all about time, place, and manner. It's about it's about picking your spots and knowing where you're at. See, I grew up fishing off of a crappie barge. It was all I had. Learning, right? So I learned how to pick that structure apart no matter what species I was wanting to fish. Knew what I'd do to catch catfish, crappie, largemouth, just all the pins. So now if I go to somewhere familiar like that, look out. Because a lot of folks will just pass by it. They'll pitch or flip to it a few times, not really dissect the structure like they need to. And bass live around crappie. Big bass live around crappie. I know you guys know that. Because they have those T-bone steaks swimming around in front of them for whenever they get agitated and hungry, they got a ready meal. It was my point to pick them out.
Right. I understand that, but I never heard you answer the question, though.
All right.
That money put to you. Do you think co-anglers affect the performance of a pro bass fisherman? I never heard you say the answer to that.
I'm sorry. I didn't catch it. I was running 3 devices at one time, handling some other stuff too. I apologize. Absolutely not. If the pro has the right mentality, it does not affect him whatsoever.
So let me jump in real quick. The pro has a mentality, whether it's good or bad. The co-angler casts a crankbait and it gets hung up in the tree. Is that affecting that pro?
That's about communication. Okay, first,
so the co-angler is going to say, hey, can you turn this boat around and get my $30 crankbait that I had custom painted that I wanted to try out during this pro event?
As the co-angler, here's the trick. If the boater wants to foster good feelings going forward, he might help him out once or twice. It's going to be an all-day thing. He might want to tell him to shut it down, say next time you're breaking off. But if he wants to foster a good relationship, he might help him out a couple
just real
times.
quick, forget about the relationship. Does that have a negative impact on that boater's fishing at that moment?
Not the boater's good enough. If the boater wants to be called a pro and the boater's a pro, it shouldn't affect anything.
So what does he? So what does he do? Let's say you're the pro. Let's say you're the pro and you're fishing, and I mean whether it's the last 30 minutes of the tournament or it's the beginning 30 minutes of the tournament, that co-angler casts his bait and it gets hung up, and he's like, and he wants his bait back.
Okay, I'll tell you. You know what I think about that?
Yeah,
I'll go back and get it every time. I'm gonna tell you why.
So real quick. So the why part is not what we're asking. Well, the part we're asking is, does it affect? How can that not affect you if you're working down, if you're fishing?
Not any worse than it's affecting everybody else that has a co-angler. See, you can't help. You can't.
But we're not saying not any worse. Is there a way? Let me just ask you: is there a way to answer yes or no to that, or are you saying that you can't answer yes or no to that?
You really can't. Because you really can't hear, because it's really quite simple. You cannot, just like in, well, I say just like it's not really just like other sports, but in fishing, you can only do what you can do. And you got to make decisions for you that day. You can only do what you can do. You cannot help what Joe Blow, who he drew as a co-angler. You can't help where he's fishing, if he's doing good, if he's not, if his co-angler's putting him on fish or he's not, if his co-angler is stabbing fish off the hook with the net because he's an idiot and hadn't learned how to net yet. You know, I mean, that can happen. I'm not saying there can't be trash co-anglers.
Right, but you're saying that they can't affect the outcome of that boater's day. So let's say that it's a boater and they are not familiar with the lake, but they get a guide as their co-angler. Do you think that co-angler can have a
most tournaments have rules against guides?
Okay, well, let's say it's not a guide, but they're familiar with that lake. There's somebody who fishes that lake enough to where they've won tournaments on there, so they know the lake. And like Eat Squawk said, they're showing that boater like, hey, we can go here and catch fish. We can go here. We can do these things. Do you think that angler, I mean that boater, is a benefit or a positive to that boater's day, to the outcome for that boater?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. So how can they only be a positive to the outcome, but there's no situation where they can be a negative? How can that possibly be?
Oh, see, that's a funny, cute little lawyer tactic. That won't have to whip it out in the way.
You said yes, of course they can. That's right. Oh, where did CT go?
He left.
All right, guys. Look, in the chat, I just dropped another poll. Can a co-angler affect the outcome of a boater's day? The answer is either yes or no. CT was saying that you cannot answer this yes or no. He's back. Shout out to CT. Let me hit the alarm.
I don't know what I hit, but I looked up and y'all disappeared. I'm like, oh no. Oh no!
I said no, it's up.
All right, so
no, it was not a rage quit. It was.
I asked the judge, "Do I have permission to treat the defendant as hostile?" And the judge said, "Yes, you do."
Okay, well, here's a trick.
So listen, hold on. I have to ask the question again. So you said that yes, they can positively affect the outcome of that boater, but how can they only affect it positive? If you're saying yes, they can affect it positive, then how can they not? There's not a situation where they can affect it negatively. How can it only be positive? How's that possible?
It's easy.
Okay.
That's the boater's decision. I'll tell you why. Because the boater doesn't have to take that advice from the co-angler either as to where to go and what to do. I've had plenty of boaters that have listened. I've had plenty of boaters that haven't.
Oh, so you're talking about the positive side. You're saying that.
Yeah. I'm saying both ways. I'm saying it's 100% even, because when it comes to negatively affecting, that's up to the boater. That's up to the boater. That's his entire mentality.
So let me ask the question one more time to make sure if I'm understanding. The question is, can a co-angler affect the outcome of a boater's day?
Only in a positive way.
Only if I do it. Hey, MoneyBass, you are talking to a mock trial state champion in high school. Just so we're clear.
Okay? Listen.
Let's set that straight.
Okay, let me. So the poll, I put the poll in here. Can a co-angler affect the outcome of a boater's day? We have 90% that says yes, and we have 10% that said no. What was the? So he said only in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
How can there
That's
only
not 90%?
I'm thinking, is there anything possible in life, like even in physics and statistics and anything, to where that can be positive, to where you can only have a positive? I don't even think
I'll give you an example of the negative. Let's say he jumps in there and he thinks he sees Nancy Kerrigan and he kneecaps him and shoves him out of it. That could be negative. That could be, I'll give you that. That could be considered negative. Mm-hmm. But no, in all reality, what I'm saying is it really boils down to the mentality. They can positively allow a co-angler to affect their day, or they can negatively allow their co-angler to affect their day. But that's not on the co-angler. Now, well, okay, I'll give you the one small caveat. I know
outcomes and results don't care. They don't care about who caused it, what was the reason. It does not care. It's like, even if you eat some bad food, it doesn't matter if you were hungry. If it's bad, you're gonna get sick. Like the result doesn't care about any reasoning at all. The result,
you know what? It's real easy. The result, that's real easy. We talked about it earlier. Don't sign that dotted line. Find another trail. Real easy.
Listen, that still does not even. That's still diverting from the question, because
not really. It's the seed that starts it.
So this is what I'll let Bass Hunter say something, but look, I understand that you are diehard. You are like, hey, I am innocent. Even it doesn't matter what the evidence says, anything. Hey, I'm gonna live and die on this statement, on this sword. This is how I'm going out. So I mean, I understand what I got you. But what were you gonna say, Bass Hunter?
I was just gonna say, you got to think about the time and the effort and the money that the pro is put up to be where he's at. I can understand if it's a BFL, we only fish for one day, and either one of us is going to make a ton of money, so it's not a big deal. And you might have practiced 1 or 2 days. Okay, I give you that. I'm gonna give you some gas money at the end of the day to try to help with that. But if I fish for 4 days of practice, I've traveled across the country to get here. I put up $4,000 entry fees, and this is my job. I would be hard to have a co-angler get his bait hung and me even think about stopping.
Well,
that 1 minute that it would take me to go get that bait might be the minute I need at the end of the day.
I don't disagree with that.
So.
But listen, I understand what you're saying, but sometimes people throw that on braid or on that 25-pound line. So you may think you're going down the bank and look at the bank and notice you're not moving.
That would be funny.
So how can it not affect the day?
But see, it's also about communication up front. You know what I mean? It's like all these problems can be solved just by talking with one another and getting that expectation. If the boater clearly says, hey, once or twice, I'm going to go get you unhung. Past that, man, you're on your own. The co knows. And if he's got braid, he better have them braid clippers out. He better know how to handle it. And that's the thing, too. When you're talking about money, like Bass Hunter so eloquently put it, about the money it takes to go out there and practice. It takes to travel, hotel stays, gas, food, whole fishing license, whole 9 yards. So what I'll say to that is the co-angler has an immense responsibility to being in the back of the boat. Yes, I'll defend co-anglers all day long. However, I'll also hold their feet to the fire. If somebody's putting out that kind of money on that kind of boat with those electronics and all the expenses that come in traveling and practicing the whole 9 yards, with the level of event that the co-angler is fishing, better also
increase their level and ability to kiss that butt.
Let me ask you this question real quick. Taking too long, look at what CoAngler Fishing says. How co-anglers can negatively affect a boater. Taking too long to get ready to move to the next spot. Casting up to or over a boater's line. Knocking a fish off with the net. Constantly getting hung up. Do you think any of those can negatively impact?
They can be eliminated.
But the question is, do you think any of those can negatively impact?
No, because they can all be eliminated.
But if they're not eliminated, then it happened. It happens.
If
they took too long to get to sit down and stuff, so that
boater's fault. Boater's fault. You know why?
So it's the boat.
You see me? I'm not a small guy, right? It took me a little while to get off the back deck, get all my stuff, and I took a ton of tackle. I took a tackle store with my ass. And I took enough rods that you guys would throw me out of the boat if y'all saw. So guess what I asked? But see, I treated my boater with respect. You know what I said?
So listen,
give me a 10-minute warning.
All right. So listen. So they gave you the 10 minutes. So now you cast and the wind grabs your line and you cast it over a boater's line. So is that the boater's fault too?
Are you kidding me? How's that going to happen? So let me ask you this. So
wait a minute. So listen, I'm trying to get clarification. So you're saying that it's not possible or it won't happen that a co-angler casts over boater's line? That doesn't happen?
Only if you have a boater driving backwards on the trolling motor. Think about it.
Okay, so real quick. So that means you're saying it's the boater's fault for that one too.
Think about the question, or think about that question that you posed. How is that wind going to come from behind the boat?
Forget the wind.
You said wind. I was going with that.
Co-angler cast over the boater's line.
The co-angler should never cast over the boater's line.
The co-angler casted over it happened. It's not how to stop. It happened. So now that it has happened, is it the boater's fault? Because the first one you said was the boater's fault. So now this one has happened. It can't unhappen because it's happening. He's reeling his line in, and the boater's line is moving because his line casted.
So there's no communication. So there's no communication. Okay.
Whether there was whatever it is, it has already happened. So is it the boater's fault if for whatever reason this happens?
It can be preempted.
Okay, so
communication fixes all of this.
Okay, so they communicated and he cast it over the boater's line. Is it the boater's fault?
Come on, Mr. Prosecutor, ease up on the.
but you can't when the prosecution's clearly losing and they ain't figured it out yet.
CT, I'm gonna help you out on this one, man.
CT said, "I'm not guilty. I was not there, Yana. I did not."
Hey, I'm sorry. This glove don't fit. I don't give a. I ain't got latex gloves on underneath it either. I don't care. This glove don't fit. But no, I mean, look. If on the rare chance, I want you to think about something for a second. Let's just go with this. I'm going to humor you and still smash you.
Come on, I think we've been on this long enough, CT.
Okay.
I don't want him to keep drilling you. You're gonna break sooner or later.
Let me say this. Okay, so it's happened.
We'll let CT close it. Now look, CT, this got to be 2 sentences. We're gonna let you close it out.
2 sentences. You know me better. So let's say the co-angler throws up there, crosses your line.
Okay.
On the rare chance. How long does it take you to get that taken care of? Is it long enough to affect the entire day's performance? If it does, you shouldn't be driving that boat. If getting crossed over one time is enough, it's going to ruin your day. What are you doing there?
But it's not even okay. I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
The fence rest.
The defense runs out of the room.
No, the fence is still here pointing.
No, I mean what am I? I'm the prosecutor. The prosecutor has ran out of the room.
There we go.
But before you get on another subject, MoneyBass, I heard you say something about you're gonna be on Lake Russell.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be on Lake Russell.
Is that gonna be on?
It sure is. You
the
will
same
be
day
there.
I'm gonna be at Lake.
Oh Lord!
Get him, Bass Hunter. Get him.
Wait a minute. This ain't gonna count because I'm gonna have a co-angler.
Oh,
Oh, see there. Ain't go. Oh, here come the excuses. We're gonna change his name to Money Excuses.
Oh goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Look at Daniel. Daniel said MoneyBass. I'm thinking you like live streams more than fishing. Oh my goodness.
I got a quick question for Mr. Bass Hunter.
Yes, sir.
This means that you are also eligible to draw a coangler that day, right?
No. In our formats, we can pick if we want to fish by ourselves or do we want to fish with a partner. It's not a.
And I'm gonna have a random draw co-angler, so I've already been paired.
Well, here's what I would say to that.
But our weights, me and my co-anglers weight count together though.
See that. Well, what I was gonna say is, any co-angler that would have the honor of drawing either you two gentlemen would be better off.
Yeah. But that's what I try to tell you the truth, CT. I try to fish by myself. I feel more comfortable. I can go and come as I please. I don't have to sit there and position the boat for the co-angler the cat make a good cast. I don't have to worry about him getting hung up and all that good stuff. So I fish by myself most of the time when I can, just because I feel more comfortable. I think I fish more loosely as a, just without a co-angler.
And see, and that's your prerogative, and you signed up in the proper format where you can do that.
Right.
And I mean, I respect that. Some folks do better without co's. Some folks it's just not for them, and there ain't nothing against that. I don't have anything in the world against that.
Yeah.
To me, the only complaint is the folks that come to the game that sign on the dotted line to possibly fish with a co, and then they piss and moan when they get one.
Right. That's
and it's like, okay, why? But I mean, I'll be hard on the co-anglers all day long on how they should take care of their boaters. That's
all
why.
Right, so listen. So I've been rolling for 2.5 hours, guys. We've been rolling. We have been rolling. So listen, I'm going to go ahead and close it out, but I'm going to close out the show with the correct answer to that question. So the question of the evening, the final question of the poll. So we've had a good time with this one, guys. So the question was, can a co-angler affect the outcome of a boater's day? The answer is yes, they can. They can affect it positively or they can affect it negatively. But the part 2 to that is the boater signed up for that co-angler random draw event. So that is the answer, CT. So yes, they can, but the boater signed up for it. All right, guys, that is the last word. All right, so we're gonna head out. So I will be seeing Bass Hunter on Lake Russell on February 3rd.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna see what goes on. All right, so I appreciate CT. You are you are the sponsor of the live stream. Big shout out to CT. So hopefully you'll be able to relax a little bit. See, we worked it out. Everything ended up being all right. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and close it down. So I will see you guys on the next live stream. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'll go ahead and drop you guys down. All right, really appreciate it, Bass Hunter. I'll see you on the next one. All right, and appreciate you as always, CT.
You guys are awesome, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys are absolutely awesome.
All right, appreciate it. All right, so that was CT, the sponsor of the live stream, guys. So we are going to head on out. Had a great time. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. And a big shout out once again to CT, the sponsor of the live stream. He gifted 5 memberships, guys. So we have 5 new members of the Money Team. Hope you guys found some value in this live stream. I'll see you guys on the next one. It'll be a good one.